Hello, everybody, and welcome back to... Wow, that was quick, huh? Wow, I just ran right through it. Hello, everybody, welcome back to another...
It's like developing a callus for your voice. It's like developing calluses on your vocal cords.
Oh,
it just
don't
comes
say that.
out.
Oh,
It's like when your feet's...
Uh-huh.
You know how feet get when
Yeah,
you use them?
You know how feet get.
I don't
Use
use
them.
mine, so.
Yeah. Or maybe playing guitar. You know how those fingertips get playing guitar, right?
There you go. Slightly less gross analogy, I suppose.
Don't worry, let me just swallow some pumice stones and work those through. You know, nodes on your vocal cords. That's a real thing. It's a real thing.
It's true. Ask Adele.
Yep. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are doing another Nextlander podcast here.
It's like,
It's very micro machines.
it was almost like a Murloc introducing the podcast. Start all of my podcasts like that from now on.
We are here. It is now September. Brad Shoemaker, welcome back to the show. Happy September.
Same to you.
Alex Navarro, welcome back. And before we get too far into the show, before I forget, right before we started, we were talking about reorganizing some of our apps on our phones. You said you have an app story to share.
Yeah, it's a little thing. Like, so my partner's out of town for a couple of weeks. She's back in China visiting her family. And we were trying to figure out, like, okay, so how are we communicating while this is going on? Because obviously things like Google products are generally banned in China. So there are not a lot of ways to message that are not just, regular SMS texting, which can be expensive.
Wait, does Signal not work?
Apparently not.
Wow. Oh, really?
WhatsApp apparently does not work.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that Zuckerberg would have gone there and figured that one out.
Sorry, no, only Nixon could go to China, not Zuckerberg.
What's the state of VPNs or the usability of VPNs in China, I should say?
That's one of those things I didn't explore. I figured that's kind of on her to figure out while she's there what the viability of that is or not. So I didn't really push the issue. But basically what it boiled down to was, so she talks to her family mostly through an app called WeChat. Which is kind of the biggest Chinese, like, it's a WhatsApp-like. I don't know how encrypted it is. I mean, I would say probably maybe not as encrypted as you might like, but it is the thing that a lot of Chinese citizens use to talk to one another. So what we came to realize was that I was going to have to download WeChat.
Oh, okay.
So now I have the Chinese messaging app, which I have never used before. I've never really had occasion to because, again, the only Chinese person in my life, generally speaking, lives with me.
And that's on the American App Store?
Yes, you can get it on the American App Store. My understanding is a lot of like Chinese diaspora use this to talk to their families. So
is that true of like all the big Chinese Can I get Bilibili or Weibo on the App Store? I think
you can.
Really?
I think you can.
I have heard of WeChat.
I don't know.
Yeah. So how was your experience?
I mean, so far it's fine. It's a pretty basic messaging app and does not seem all that weird or hard to use. There is definitely a little bit of like we really need to make sure you're a person verification at the beginning. I assume they have some weird guidelines around like spammers and stuff. But other than that, it's been fairly mundane. It's very fun trying to figure out how to get things and talk to her and do this stuff while she is over there. Like she wanted to see a clip of my band, so she could show her family like, hey, look, here's, my partner and his band and whatever. I was like, cool, I'll send you a YouTube link. Oh, no, we can't use that here.
I'm
like, okay, can I put that on Dropbox? No. Can I put that on Google Drive? No. Can you just send me the file? It's like half an hour long. What do you want me to do? She's like, well, can you go in and you edit the clip and then just put it like send it to me directly in email, but only the email that I can access here in China. Listen, there are some things about Chinese society I admire, but let's be real. This is probably more complicated than any human society needs to be at this point.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these are not the parts you would admire.
No, not especially.
No.
But we're working around it. We're making it happen. I'm trying to figure out how to make this happen.
Yeah.
Do they still call it the Great Firewall?
They should if they don't. It's a great name.
That's what Wikipedia still seems to use that term.
Are you just going to spam stuff? You should not do this while your partner is in China. Just spam stuff to see if your account gets banned or flagged or taken down at some points. Yeah.
I'm not going to test the waters. I'm just going to leave things as mundane as possible.
Great. I will assume all of our communications are monitored from this point out while it's on your phone.
I just kind of assume that's happening anyway. I assumed I have an NSA handler somewhere that has just, keep an eye on all my bullshit.
That's right.
Oh God,
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
I've been in a real networking frame of mind recently. I won't get into it, but now I'm going down the rabbit hole of on this Wikipedia page of what you can and can't get away with on this thing.
On WeChat?
No, on the internet in China.
Okay.
Oh,
like through this.
It's pretty severe,
like,
from what I understand.
through this firewall, through this filtering.
I mean, I was in Shanghai about 12 years ago, but I was there for a funeral, and I didn't spend a lot of time online, so I didn't really poke around the corners of this stuff very much. I do just remember that basically none of my apps worked back then.
Operates by checking TCP packets for keywords or sensitive words.
Yeah.
So they're like literally like profiling your traffic. What if?
No, you don't want to type things like, Taiwan, let's say, in your chat, or, what is it? We need the
Well, it's a good thing
bear?
that I have no public opinions about Taiwan.
That's right. That's right.
What if
you and
what if
John
you're-
Cena?
What if all your packets are encrypted? What do they do then?
You probably automatically flagged.
I do think VPNs exist in China. I don't know to what extent, and I don't know if there are special things you have to do for VPNs in China to make them work, because I have to imagine they wouldn't love the idea of people going out there and, getting on the rest of the internet, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't presume to know. I assume there are ways.
Man, I'm super curious now because I have a VPN set up to my house. Like most people have a VPN from their house to some private company, but I have a WireGuard connection set up here. You can kind of hide WireGuard. Sorry, this is getting very tech pod here. I apologize.
No. Never apologize. Never.
You can hide your WireGuard connection by running it on a common port like 443 that's used for HTTPS.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of can't tell because you have to have that port. If you don't allow that traffic, you can't use the internet. So you can kind of piggyback it on this common port. But would they notice that? I don't know.
I wouldn't test it. I don't know.
Me either.
Yeah. I don't want to get too geopolitical at the very top of the show, but isn't there that huge military celebration going on now?
No. Literally, the day she got in, first morning she wakes up, that's on the TV in the hotel, and everybody's watching the military parade.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say.
I saw photos.
It's okay, again, not too geopolitical right out of the gate.
No, we're screwed at this point.
This is the one where we have Russia and North Korea in attendance, right? Putin and...
I believe so.
Okay. And
let me tell you right now, whatever you think of military parades, and I don't think much of them, they do them a lot better over there than we do them here.
Yeah, I'll put air quotes on... I'll add the air quotes on better.
They're elaborate. They're much more elaborate, and they are much more choreographed.
Right. This is the thing celebrating the end of World War II.
Yes.
Which is a thing to celebrate.
Yeah, with Putin and Kim Jong-un.
I'm not saying that's who I'd go hang out with if I were choosing to celebrate that. I'm just saying that's a thing you could do.
Well, let's move on from Chinese geopolitical conflicts and
again, I have no opinions. I'm just telling you about an app I downloaded.
Stated non-opinionated person, Alex Navarro. Right, that's right.
It's a very functional app. That's what I have to say about it.
What is it? Cromulent? Is that?
Yes, it's a perfectly cromulent app. Just think about what you say on there.
This podcast is banned.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, just like our YouTube channels. Add Russia, Belarus, and now all of China.
That's fine.
Speaking of things that should never be banned, at least 3 out of 4 should never be banned. Mass Effect.
Who's trying to ban Mass Effect?
EA.
Well, remember, there was all that outcry when it turned out that was a porno game because of all the sex in it.
Yeah.
They did try to, they didn't really try to ban it, but some people probably were pretty mad.
Somebody's probably been nursing a grudge since 2007.
The endings, that
person now runs the Department of Housing and Urban Development.
That's right.
Probably,
That's right. They're looking at the Shepherd's mortgage
That's right,
loads.
yes. Commander Shepard's financial situation is about to get a lot stickier.
All the Shepherds. My son is now playing through the I don't know what year it was released, but the Mass Effect.
Was,
the new one.
The Legendary.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my first question. That was the very first question to ask.
Okay.
Was Is he doing original or is he doing legendary edition?
He's doing a legendary edition,
Okay.
and
I think that's the right choice.
I don't know. He's playing on the PS5, and I'm not exactly sure what has been done. I guess I could look it up, but this is just him playing through it. And I did not remember this in the beginning of Mass Effect, but he was kind of going through the early character choosing. I say choosing very particularly because they kind of hid all the character creation stuff, and I thought that was much more upfront originally in Mass Effect, but it basically you can pick male or female shepherd, and then there's a whole thing that says custom something, right? But if you just pick male or female shepherd at the top of the legendary edition, and this might have been in the original as well, I just don't remember, it just gives you a default background with default class as well. So it's like, okay, you are this and you're a soldier. I always thought I had remembered if you pick John Shepherd, then you get to pick your background, then you get to pick your class. But that seemed to just roll up a package that's like, let's just get you into the game. Here's a stock background for everything. That's not how I remembered it.
Yeah, I don't remember either, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's new. That sounds like something they would do in 2021 when that came out, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like to just streamline it and get you in.
And so I was like, oh, because he wanted to use he was like, I told him, I was like, you're always going to be blank Shepherd because everybody's going to call you Shepherd no matter what you pick for a name or which Shepherd you pick. You're always going to be something Shepherd. But just a heads up, if you name your character like Bojangles Shepherd, that's going to carry with you for 3 games now. Like because sometimes my son will just do goofball stuff and be like, Bob. I just want to name him Bob Shepherd. Be like, you could totally name him, but heads up,
but you're Bob forever.
You will be Bob until the end of time here.
It's going to be a Bob emergency if you ever want to change it. So
the other thing I told him before we get started, and I don't know if this changed, was no custom character you create will look as good as these default shepherds. 100%
the reason I went with stock Shepherd.
Yeah, like
they just scanned a human being for that model versus
yeah.
Yep.
So like you might want to think about that before you start tweaking some sliders and making your own character. So he went with the default Shepherd. I think he went with male Shepherd. I think he maybe even went with John Shepherd.
I think I should jump in. I think they did actually improve the look of the created characters quite a bit in Legendary, though. I think that was one of the improvements.
Because the character creator went through a big overhaul in 2, right? And isn't that why you couldn't just import your characters anymore? You had to and they said, oh, remember you got an explosion, they have to reconstruct your whole being. And
I don't know. I think you could bring your character over, right?
I thought one of them, 2 or 3. I thought one of them you had to go in and redo it, and it was
actually make you redo it.
It's been a very long time.
I don't think we had to do that in our version of the game, but I feel like might be one of those things where, like, because we played some specific later update version of that game or something, maybe we didn't have to do that.
I thought I remembered in 2 it was just an excuse to let you remake it if you wanted to, but not necessarily force you to, but I really can't remember.
Okay, maybe. Either way.
I mean, there hasn't been a new Mass Effect game in 75 years, so I can understand why we've forgotten.
That's right. I'm curious to see how this all integrates in the Legendary Edition. I have not played any of it as he is going. The other thing that I thought was different, he was like, man, I really love the Mako. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, you'll be in it for a bit and exploring the planets. I was like, oh, there was some backlash to the Mako because you can't shoot down, right? You could only shoot parallel on the plane that the Mako was on, as I remembered it. And he's like, what? And he just aims down and starts shooting through the like the target reticule and just shooting in a straight line. I was like, whoa, wait, really? Is that?
I think they reworked that quite a bit.
Yeah,
they did a ton of gameplay stuff to 1.
Okay.
In particular, even just the on foot third person stuff, they reworked quite a bit
to make it more in line with like the action stuff from 2 or 3.
Yeah, just to modernize it. Yeah, 2 and 3 got like no changes on the gameplay end, as far as I know. It's pretty much all graphics on those.
I see. So no heat sinks in 1 yet. It's still, you have to wait for the cooldown on the weapon. You're not just swapping mags or heat sinks.
That's the game, man. That's what Mass Effect 1 is about. It is about not swapping mags.
Not swapping. Well, until later on when they were like, we need to let you swap mags.
So what class did he?
Oh, so what class? I think he's a Vanguard.
Okay.
And
is that what I picked?
It's the shotgun class. It's like
Vanguard is the biotic dash in and shotgun them to death class.
Yeah. That comes in 2. I thought that was in 1 as well, but I guess that dash is a 2 thing.
Oh, okay.
It might have been, Alex.
Because I remember my whole thing was like, my shepherd uses pistols and up close stuff. So I feel like that might be something that I thought I did.
That's exactly what my son said. Is that I use pistols and I want to be up close.
Did you show him Mass Alex before this? Okay.
No. Yeah.
Did they add the God? What's the little arm display called? I should remember this.
On your Omni tool?
Yeah, like the Omni Blade. Did they add the Omni Blade to 1?
I don't think the Omni Blade is in 1. There's the
It
tool.
definitely wasn't originally. But I don't remember if they went and added it to Legendary. I can't remember.
I haven't seen him try to melee someone yet, so I haven't seen that thing pop out yet. But I do feel like that was a narrative thing in 2 that they say they added to the Omni tool, whatever. I forgot some of the stuff, the pacing. He was on the Citadel forever, just soaking up side quests, and I was like, oh man, I was like, I'm trying not to push him in any direction, but he was running into a lot of stuff where he really was getting a little frustrated in doing the side quest because he's like, there are all these options I can't pick that are blocked out because his Paragon level, he's going like full Paragon, is not high enough, or he doesn't have the points in Charm or Intimidate to get the dialogue options. I was like, I'm pretty sure you can come back to a lot of these Citadel missions. They'll be here if you want to do some other stuff. Because you're going to run it, if you start to scoop all these up, I think you're going to run into stuff where they expect you to be a little higher in terms of points distribution. But he did not want to leave anything undone. And so he's like playing, it's like a couple of days, and he's like, I'm still missing a party member. Not a couple of days, maybe like a full day. And I'm like, wait, you're still missing a party member? And he opens up the screen, and it's silhouetted, and it's Liara. I was like, you haven't done this yet? He's like, no, I'm just still doing stuff on the Citadel, running around, getting lost on the Citadel as one does, because
that's the best party member.
And I'm like, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but you might just want to just knock this mission out.
Does he not want a wife?
Look, he is rolling with Rex and Tali, and like that's
fine.
That's
I love
the party.
them.
Yeah,
not a bad crew.
That's
They're
a crew.
great people.
Yes,
I like Tali quite a bit, but I never used her. I don't know why.
I liked, she's good against the Geth, right? That's against the electronics.
I just like listening to her talk.
Yes. And so
Rex all the way, man.
Mm-hmm. I also like listening to Rex talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
He dropped the data module.
Yeah, right.
Did you know they used a face model for Liara?
No.
I believe it.
That was something like, you can go Google it. There's an actress that played Liara, quote unquote, for the face modeling. It was something I found out very late, like just a few years ago.
My favorite, so I have a deep affection for Mass Effect, and mostly the world building in Mass Effect. And at some point I was like, hey, are you like listening to all the Codex stuff or checking that stuff out? He's like, oh yeah. He's like, Dad, they go hard. And I was like, hell yeah. He's like, they describe all these planets and like all the atmospheres and like what's happening on every planet. It's like, he was basically like, Mass Effect is not messing around with their story stuff here. And I was like, good job, son. You have made me very proud today.
Man,
this day.
Did you have him read Mass Effect Revelation?
He has not done any outside materials yet.
Okay.
I think you got to finish 3 before that.
Well, no, that's a prequel.
I know
what I'm saying is like the supplemental materials, man, like get through the games first.
That's the one time in my life that shit has worked on me.
That's the Anderson Saren book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You get that in a conversation with Anderson. I had forgotten about this, that he's like, tell me more. He's like, I was on a mission with Saren, and he like, he sabotaged the mission. And so after that, I was like, look, if you want this book, I have it. this novel.
I don't know if it would work the same these days, because you could just go play the games now. But like, I read it before the game came out,
right?
And back, remember the hype for Mass Effect was like pretty immense, right? It was just like, okay, check this shit out. This is the Star Trek and Star Wars mashup, except it's 70s sci-fi that you've wanted your whole life. And I was like, oh my god,
yeah,
I need this. I'm going to read this book, because Rich Gallup was like, hey, you should read this book.
Yeah.
And like, that shit worked beyond the hopes of the wildest marketers' dreams. I was fucking dying for Mass Effect 1 by the time it came out, because I had read that book.
I don't know if I read it before, during, or after. But there were a couple of other supplemental things, mostly comics that came out.
But I mean, I guess I bring that up in relation to the codex, like it just,
Yes.
they flesh out that universe so well, like politically, scientifically, just the whole thing.
It was part of the Andromeda stuff that I felt was extremely lacking, was everything just kind of became mushed together because they just said, it's the Milky Way. And you lost all the factionalization within the Milky Way, which I understand. They just kind of mushed everything together and be like, look at this whole other threat here. But all of the weird political intrigue, Max is encountering the genophage, right? For the Krogans, and he's got to
learn about it eventually.
He's got to think about it, and he's like, man, that's really messed up. I was like, you have no idea where this whole thing goes. Like
forced sterilization, ethnic cleansing,
it's
like name it.
Pretty heady shit for
you heard about this?
One atrocity after another.
To have to then go in and make your very, usually in Mass Effect terms, very binary choices, good and evil. There's not a lot of gray in the Mass Effect Paragon evil universe, but I will TBD, I guess. I'm curious to see what he thinks about some of those choices. Some do. I feel like even some of the Paragon things have knock-on consequences later on, that he is trying to be the very Boy Scouty good shepherd, that I'm curious to see what he thinks of that game. I think he's enjoying it so far. And
did you guys ever do Renegade playthroughs at all?
Oh yeah, every game.
Really?
I did a full Paragon, then I would change to the female shepherd and do full infiltrator sniper class.
Oh man,
was my evil shepherd.
Oh,
and
man,
I have to say, evil shepherd, she's so good. Like she's so
she's pretty fucking evil from what I remember.
Maybe I should do that someday. The one I've never played Renegade, but the one criticism I always read about it was that you were never quite sure what kind of Renegade you were going to get when you made the choice. Like
I usually, like, it was pretty brutal.
You might get kind of classic anti-hero, like still serving the greater good, but through slightly underhanded means, or you might just get fucking cap between the eyes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Most of the time I found it very fun, and I think it sometimes depended on, do we need to progress the story anymore, or can we just kill this person? I think there's one person, you just drop a tank on them, they're just like repairing a thing and they don't want to let you through, and you just... The female shepherd runs. So what I would do is I do the male shepherd run, and I do it as a Boy Scout, and I finish the game, and then I go back and I put it on the highest difficulty and do it as the to get the achievement, and then do it on the highest difficulty as the female shepherd. And I think I always enjoyed those more, mostly because I knew how to play the game and all the content, but just the choices, you skip so much, right? Because you're actually cutting off a lot of paths by just pushing people out of windows and not doing dialogue stuff. And I always found those to be very fun. But she was a sniper, and some of the missions I remember being tough in the sniper class. Different party too. You don't need Garrus when you can snipe yourself. You know what I'm saying?
It was always the most interesting thing to me was how the party would react to you when you were the biggest dick in the world.
Yeah. Look, Mass Effect 2 is the game. That's the one.
I agree.
There are things about 3. Now there are things about 1.
There are things about 1 and there are things about 3. But when I think of my best memories in Mass Effect 2, in Mass Effect, they're usually out of 2, except for the final boss.
Yeah, the Terminator skeleton's pretty fucking dumb.
I don't mind the final boss so much. I don't love the suicide run, but that's also me beating that game before it came out talking, where there was zero supplemental information about the suicide run.
So you were just kind of guessing,
There's a lot of judgment calls that you don't necessarily know what kind of logic the game wants you to use, so I ended up losing, I think, Morden.
It's brutal
in the suicide run.
It's so weird because I feel like I did it perfectly and everyone got through, and definitely no one was randomly murdered because I made a random decision.
No, it was a perfect run. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. As you will see from our Mass Effect 3 playthrough, everyone is there.
Everyone is there. No reason to use a save editor at all. It's great. Yes, Brad, I agree with you. Even when Alex was doing it, it felt like he was making decisions that you're not exactly sure why the game punished you this way for this decision. For sure.
I feel like specifically the biotic is the weird choice there. Like they want you to pick one biotic, and I picked the other one who also was a powerful biotic.
It's like you pick Jack or
I think so.
the sister, I think in
Samara
that one,
was maybe the other one.
yeah, but
remember.
you could sacrifice Samara for like the other dark sister. Remember, she's like the Asari vampire.
Yeah. Yes, you could have the vampire sister instead.
Yeah. Anyway, those games are great. I hope he enjoys them. I will not think less if he puts them down, but I think getting to
no way.
2.
He's in it.
I hope so. They're long, you know?
Yeah.
They sure are. Okay. Based on every limitation placed upon his screen time.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
When do you estimate he will finish Mass Effect 3?
3?
If he were to just play all of them end to end and not play another game until he was done.
A lot of this is going to depend on his sister. Will his sister give up the screen time on the weekend?
Sure.
For
Is
Mass
she
Effect
watching?
to be played. I think she could get into it.
Because that seems like there is so much meat to the story and the character interactions in those games that I could 100% see spectating those games being almost as good as playing them.
So,
especially if you're like, empowered to give suggestions for decisions and stuff like that.
yeah. So the parts that I realized, because I was sitting there watching him play, is like, yes, though, Mass Effect 1 at least, the side missions can be a little stale sometimes, like the not the good side missions,
just the generic base.
Yeah.
Hey, you're going to this location for the 4th time and clearing it out.
Totally.
Again.
I mean,
And, like,
again, isn't the monkey mission in 1?
is that 1 or 2?
I think that's 1.
Yeah, some of that stuff could be a little like tedious, and then also watching him just get turned around and lost in a base is like, oh, dude, you just gotta go right. It's here.
Hang on. I think we're burying the lead here. Are you saying they have a common pool of screen hours that they have to divvy up?
Yeah.
Wow.
Share that screen.
Man.
You were history's greatest monster.
No, they have unlimited weekend, basically unlimited screen time on the weekend, and mostly during the summer, basically.
Okay, so you're history's second greatest monster.
But, they've got to figure it out. So that either they can figure it out by playing something together, they can figure it out by, parceling out time here, who's going to get the morning, who's going to get the afternoon. This is how we learn to live in a society, it's a little, there's definitely wheeling and dealing that happens. Hey, if you play this for 4 hours, I will let you do that, but you have to play the game I want to play with me after this, which sometimes is, can be tough. But yeah, I think if he has his druthers, let's say, he could be Mass Effect 3 by the end of this year, I think. Maybe halfway. Dude, he burns through games so quickly.
All right.
He beat like 2 Metroid games this summer, like just back to back. Like when it's the weekend and he can dig in, he's on that thing for like 8 hours.
Unlimited time for 2 days is a lot if you're the type of person who's willing to just sit and play for 12 hours.
Yeah.
And I always forget kids, they just have that power to power through things in a way that maybe I don't anymore,
Yeah, he can chew through a game pretty quickly if just given the time and nobody's bothering him. He'll go through it.
It's pretty rare that I will just sit for hours and hours and play something. I'm usually like about 2 hours into the average game. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to get up and do something else, unless it's something I'm really, really into.
Yeah.
Such as Death Stranding 2.
Well, tell me about your really into Death Stranding 2. There were large accusations made before we were recording that you are not only really enjoying Death Stranding 2, maybe you were enjoying Death Stranding 2 the most this year.
Whoa.
I mean, you said it.
Hey, you did say it. I have it on record.
Not for public consumption. The year's not over yet. We'll see. But I did take this 3-day weekend as an opportunity to fall all the way back down the Death Stranding hole.
And how'd that go? What'd you find at the bottom?
The game rules. The roads everywhere.
Yes.
There's not an auto paver that has not been fully funded on my map at this point.
So let me ask you some nitty gritty stuff here. All right, let's I'll say this out of the gate here at the top slowly, and I will enunciate. There may be some unintended Death Stranding 2 spoilers that come up in this Death Stranding 2 talk. I don't think we necessarily need to get into it, but they might come up.
Here are 2 non-spoiler milestones to describe where I'm at in the game, and I think I'm the furthest of the 3 of us. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, definitely by my count.
I don't know where Alex is at, but
I'm chapter 4.
I think I'm in chapter 4 too, but not very far into it.
I have encountered the solid snake-looking dude for the first time.
Oh, the guy from the trailers, the Solid Snake analog,
the soldier guy with the headband,
Mm-hmm.
and I have run into Elle Fanning once, or she's been in a cutscene. So like that's where I'm at. I'm in chapter 6.
Mm-hmm.
So my question for you, mechanically, is: if you hit a road paver or an auto paver, are you then just going back to the nearest settlement that you can draw resources out of, loading up a truck or something, and then just hitting all the auto pavers along the way? Or are you doing them as you have the materials on you? Are you actively seeking out to just bulk up your metals and your ceramics on a trip and just knock them out?
It depends on a lot of stuff. And one of those is that some auto pavers, they very clearly want you to just finish the second you find them, which are kind of like the main story artery ones. And then there's the ones on the roads off to the side that require like 10 to 20 times as many resources.
Yeah.
Like I'm at the point where I'm tapped on ceramics and metals to the point that I can't, like I barely can finish everything.
So I still don't understand this in the game fully, because I've only been like pecking at it like a bird on birdseed, kind of not digging in too much.
Yeah, and to be clear, I had not played since before I left town almost 2 months ago. So I just happened to get back into it.
But you're saying you're tapped on resources. So resources between settlements are not shared?
They are not shared. The one thing I'm curious about is if they regenerate slowly. I know they add more to the store every time you level up a location, but that's only you can only go up to 5 stars, so you can only do that so many times. So I don't know if they slowly just magically reappear at each location over time. Doesn't seem like they do. And also there are mines, but I haven't found a metals mine yet, and you need metals for roads. So
yeah. And so the mines, you have to go and do you have to convert chiralium crystals?
Yeah, you have to pay chiral crystals for stuff. But here's a tip, you want to upgrade those mines as soon as you can. Okay. Because upgrading the mines just increases the yield of minerals for the same chiral crystal cost. Yeah. So
if you were tapped on metals, let's say, you could go to a different settlement and maybe pull some out of there if you still had them there.
It's just that most of my settlements are down into double-digit metals at this point.
Okay,
because I went and built all the side roads that.
You got to get a better crew out there. Got to hit a better server. These people aren't pulling their weight. It's all Shoemaker.
Well, you always have to finish the roads.
Oh yeah.
Like they never just have a road finished for you. You always have to be have to be the last mile of delivering resources before they'll actually fill the road in.
I haven't played enough to notice that yet.
But every time you do a road and hover over it, it'll show the other players that supposedly contributed to it. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I don't know if that is like, I know a lot of the stuff in the game is legit about like, yes, this is this person's ladder here that you're using, or actually saw in my log that you used one of my generators several times.
Oh, hell yeah. Are we super friends now? Are we bridge crew?
I don't know. I'll have to look, but I'm sure it biases toward people on your friends list popping up in the log saying, Mine Cavity used your generator.
Well, there's a link, there's a bridge link thing that you could specifically try to. I popped you two guys, but I don't know if you have to reciprocate back to actually do it.
That's one thing I pretty much completely neglect in this game is I never look at the social feed or like look at the bridge links or any of
Me either.
I should probably dig into those menus a little bit more. But as far as the roads go, I don't know. I've never known really what it means for other people to be contributing resources. Like that almost feels like it's faked to me, because some of the roads I've done I've had to put like 3,000 of each type of resource into them to finish them. So
they could be maintaining them. Maybe maybe they're doing the maintaining on them. So how is your infrastructure game at this point? I know you did the roads. Are you doing bridges as well, or are you like it's roads all the time?
I think I've only built one bridge in my entire time with this so far.
Okay.
Mainly because there's already bridges everywhere that other people have built.
Timefall shelters, generators, same thing?
Not much. Like I've probably used a PCC like 5 times in this game or something.
Okay.
PCC is the thing you use to build bridges and generators and watchtowers and so forth. I just got a longer bridge though. So I'm getting into
how long is your bridge?
I'm getting deep enough into 80 meters. Thank you. I'm getting into the point of the game where like I'm finding more weird shit, which is awesome.
Okay.
Like I found there's a bunch of side settlements in this game that are not part of the main story. Like those were in Mexico too. It's like, the artist is at the top of this hill and
right.
she's not part of the story at all unless you go find her. So there's one out on an island that I can see but couldn't get to.
Oh.
And so now that I've got this longer bridge, I think I can I haven't checked. I think maybe that bridge will be long enough to just get to that island.
Oh, they're not
Okay.
giving you a boat?
Well, no. So A, there's no boat. B, you can't walk or drive out in that tar because you just die.
Mm.
But
That's
C,
right, not regular ocean. Forgot
gotcha.
about that.
C, the monorail track goes right over that house.
Oh, you got to
And
drop
so
down?
before I got this longer bridge, I was like, so I can't try this right now because I don't have you can only send the monorail to a destination endpoint.
Yeah.
And I haven't found the next endpoint in that direction of that house yet, so I can't tell the monorail go in that direction.
Got it.
But you can ride the monorail and jump off at any time. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
seen this.
Yeah, I never jumped off. But
So my assumption until I got this longer bridge was, I'm going to have to go find the next endpoint in this monorail and then ride the monorail and just jump onto this dude's house.
how are you going to get back?
Hell yeah.
from the monorail? I don't know. That's for later.
Who cares?
There
Anyway.
are things which I want to ask you if you have seen them yet, but in your describing of traversing, maybe you haven't, so I don't want to spoil it yet. That was from the first game that I assume make their way back here. How about cars, vehicles? Let's talk vehicles.
Still just trike and truck.
Trike and truck, but what is your go-to? How do you operate here? What's the Shoemaker delivery method? You got a new outpost. It's going to be off the road.
Yeah, there are so many outposts now, and I've got so many crisscrossing deliveries back and forth that I'm pretty much all truck, which is kind of driving me nuts because I hope to God there are upgrades for the truck by the end of this game that A, make it go faster, and B, let you pick stuff up without getting out of the truck.
Ooh, yeah. Scoop.
Yeah, and I'm not optimistic about either one of those things.
Oh, I thought maybe I'm inventing this. I thought there was like an articulated arm or something that you could put on the truck for picking stuff up. I don't know if that's a one game,
Was that
one
in the
thing,
first
or
one?
two.
Yeah, maybe
But
maybe
I
that's
thought I
coming.
remembered that being in one, but I could be wrong.
I hope that's coming because although I've gotten it down where I can like kind of button through the animations as fast as possible, and it's not terrible.
Now you're playing Death
but-
Stranding, where you're skipping 80% of
Yeah,
the
well,
animations
well, you
every time
can't
you put
skip-
something in the
yeah.
back of the truck.
Right, but you can't skip the ones getting in and out of the truck, unfortunately.
No. So you will. You're basically, you've got a new outpost. You're rolling your truck. Do you keep some stuff in the truck, some special materials,
Yeah,
ceramics, and okay,
Truck
Well,
stuff.
those are getting deposited generally whenever I'm at a major hub.
okay. And
I've
then
got so much cargo to deal with.
do you park the truck under like a timefall shelter and then hoof it to the outpost?
Nah.
How are you getting up that truck up waterfalls and steep inclines?
There's usually a path. Also, like I said, I've got roads everywhere now.
Yeah, but like the ones you got to get on the chiral network, that are off grid.
You can usually find a way.
Okay, so you're mostly just trucking it.
Yeah, occasionally I'll take the tricycle when it seems like I don't have a lot to haul.
I have found, and again, only up to chapter 4 now. I have found some really nice abandoned trikes when I need them that are just like, oh, I'm going to park right here. Some other person just left a trike here. This is perfect. I'm just going to go take it and ditch this trike.
What qualifies a trike as nice?
It runs.
Available and not at like 2%, where I'm gonna
not total dog
tap it.
shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if it's got some nice upgrades, like the go Power Wheel upgrade that gets up the mountains better, I'll take it. Or extra battery juice or any of the upgrades. But have you ever abandoned a vehicle?
No,
Okay.
definitely not.
They always make it back home?
'Cause I don't want to be one of those fucking people because I've been carrying fragile cargo and run into somebody else's vehicle fast enough multiple times to damage my cargo and lose score on my delivery. Fuck that.
You're a legend of legends.
People leaving their fucking truck right in the middle of the path.
Oh, man. It's
At least park off onto the shoulder, please.
Look, man, they haven't had society in a while.
The other thing is I keep searching vehicles, hoping that somebody's left cargo in there, but they're always empty. I don't know if that's enforced by the game.
I don't know if the abandoned cargo stays in a truck because you have to.
Yeah,
it has to
maybe
be
not.
technically abandoned, right?
But even
Yeah.
if it does, what kind of asshole leaves their cargo in their abandoned vehicle? What kind of fucking porter are you?
Bad one. Have you
Garbage porter.
Have you accidentally hit a porter yet? One of the AI porters?
No, they always jump out of the way for me.
I hit one guy, and he was in West Fort Knox, whatever one of the big hub cities is.
Not, please.
Yes.
The word not is in everything, okay?
That's right. Sorry, yes. And that dude has been knocked out on the entryway of that thing for my entire playthrough now.
He's
will
never
not
getting
get-
up.
He
Wow.
will not get up.
Really?
He's got the stars over his head, so I know he's not dead,
Okay.
but he will not get up.
That porter
Yeah.
will return in Death Stranding 3 as unconscious man.
Uh-huh.
the primary antagonist of Death Stranding 3.
He was walking in the middle of the thing.
I love this stupid fucking game. Like, this game is so stupid. I did a side mission where you have to go recover a bunch of tar drugs.
Tar drugs.
From a brigand camp, except you have to destroy them, not deliver them.
Interesting.
So I'm rolling back up to West Fort Knott, and Dollman is like, hey, I think you're supposed to destroy those things. They're not going to take them from you.
Uh-huh.
So I dumped them all. There were 8 of them, and I dumped them all right on the doorstep of the big city. And I was like, I'm just going to grenade all of these at once, and it's going to be awesome. And then I realized I was in front of a city where there are weapons restrictions, and it wouldn't let me throw a grenade. I was like, well, I can drive all the way back out into the desert so I can grenade these things, or I'm just going to get in this truck and slowly drive over and back up over these things for 5 minutes.
Did you, and it destroyed them?
And because they kept getting pushed out of the way every time I would drive over them, so I couldn't keep driving over all of them efficiently.
Oh my gosh.
So I just kept it was just like something like you might as well have played yakety sax over what I was doing, because I was just slowly driving back and forth over top of these briefcases as they flashed red until they were all destroyed. And they're still there. That pile of dead briefcases is still just sitting outside of that city.
But you got credit for the mission for destroying them.
I got a Legend of Legends.
Great. Legend of Legends. He's a Legend of Legends. I jumped back into this game. It's been a while. I haven't touched it. I immediately just was like, all right, I'm just going to spend an hour or whatever it is, because this is a slow mover. Spend my time emptying out my inventory. I had deliveries across that entire section where I am, where that West Fort Knott section is. Let me just go deliver everything. Because I don't remember what I was doing. Delivered it, and then I would forget, I didn't pick up a delivery from this place. Let me go pick up this delivery. Brad, have you been just 5-starring every place as much as you can?
I mean, no.
Okay.
Like,
do you pick up random cargo still, or do you drive by it?
Yeah.
Do you always pick it up?
Yeah, I try to get everything to 4, because it seems like in most cases the unique gear stops at 3 or 4 stars.
Oh, is that the case? Okay.
Yeah, like a lot of locations, it seems like the rewards for 5 stars are generic. It's just like more memory budget, more now you can rest here.
Okay.
Like now you can get more resources here. You know, like it's not unique.
A unique item.
Yeah, or at best it's like a trinket to go on your backpack, which all have effects, to be clear. Like I got a quokka, I got a miniature quokka trinkets that makes animals less scared of me when I roll up on them.
Okay. I
got an electrobiote that makes gives me more battery capacity. I've been putting in a lot of hard yakka.
Oh, sure. Who hasn't?
That's that Boston Australian I've always heard so much about.
Might be my favorite thing about this game is teaching me that apparently yakka is Australian slang for work.
Ah, okay.
Putting in the yakka.
Are you collecting animals for the animal sanctuary?
I've done a few, but I think it just gives you stars on that location. I don't think it gives you anything unique, but I can't remember.
I want a pet. I think, again, only in chapter 4, they're still messing around with the tar, but there's a real less antagonistic relationship with the tar in this game than there was in the first one. Like,
it's not as bad. I mean, it's still not great, but it's not as bad.
Well, it's like I got up to the part where they're like, "Hey, we made a tar fire extinguisher." I'm like, "You did a what now?"
Oh,
They're using the technology. Yes.
Yeah. Did you do the whole raining flaming dolphins sequence?
I did not do that. No.
Wait, really?
No, I just did the. There was a bushfire where. Oh, is that what's falling? Are they flaming dolphins?
Have you done the big action sequence in the flaming canyon?
I did. Where I had to go rescue a kangaroo.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So those giant things slamming into the ground.
Oh, they're not just like
causing
rocks?
the fire.
Yeah.
Head back over there and see what they are.
Oh, okay.
They're all like giant flaming dolphins raining from the sky.
Oh, I know. I just thought it was like, I should have guessed.
Meteors or something. Meteorites?
Yeah, right.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
I just took a truck through there and cruised through that area. But yeah, you can use like you got like a fire extinguisher to put out the fire.
Yep.
It just feels like there's a ton, just like Death Stranding 1, maybe even more so. There's so many things that I'm not engaging with that they give you that I'm like, I could put out this fire, or I could just drive around it and just use it. I could use the floating carrier, or I could just haul this shit, And so, but I always bring one with me. I never use it. I could use any of these 802 weapons I have now, but I always use the same one over and over again. It's weird. They stack it full of opportunity and options, which is great, but I really think I stick to the stuff I know, or the stuff that feels like it's just working for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I just need to get in a good groove with this game. I've tried multiple times, and granted, I tried last night, and I had a hard time just even remembering what I was doing, so I did some random deliveries and just kind of wandered around for a while. But the thing that bothers me is that, like, I can recognize in every way this is a better game than the last one. Like, even the story stuff, which I am not super invested in, is still at least ridiculous, I think, mostly in the right way from what I've experienced thus far versus the not right way. I can't find my groove with this one, and I think it has more to do with external factors than the game itself, because while I don't love Death Stranding as a concept and as a whole, I just feel like everything about this game is better, and I just want to get into the groove with it.
I haven't fully locked in yet either. I think this one's going to be a comeback to multiple times for me.
Yeah, it's harder and harder to do, though, like, because there's a lot going on in the various parts of that game world, and it's not always easy to remember, like, what was I involved in before I came back here? What
I was involved in, like Brad, is getting the roads.
That's the thing. That's the one constant.
Yeah, that's it. I just got to, as long as I'm delivering my metals and my ceramics to get the auto pavers going and the mining things going, everything else, who cares?
You guys have the fast travel on the Magellan, right?
Yeah.
Do I? I think I do.
You definitely.
I haven't really used it much, but I think I have it.
Well, can you tell the Magellan to go anywhere now?
Is it from a terminal? Like, where is that from?
The map. They tell you very explicitly. They make you do it when they give it to you.
I thought I remembered that happening.
I also thought I remembered that happening. And when I was playing, because I saw a star on my map that was not connected to the network. And I was like, oh, crap, I think I missed an outpost. It's very far away.
Well, you have to have been there and gotten it on the network before you can do it. But you open the map, hold X, and then it lets you just jump between locations and tell the Magellan to go there.
I'll double check. It's funny you asked that, because I was playing and my son was next to me, and I noticed that node that I think I missed, and I was like, I turned to him and I was like, did we ever fast travel in this game? So it is definitely something I feel like I should do, and I think
because that makes it enormously easier to just fill out locations and build road and all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't see why I wouldn't. Like, is there a story beat with it?
Yeah, it's part of the story progression, absolutely.
Okay, I'll double check.
I thought I remembered doing that before I had my last long gap in the game, but I also didn't do any fast traveling when I booted up last night, because I was just like, I don't know where I am or what I'm doing.
And I think, Brett, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can fast travel, if I'm remembering this at all, and then it'll just auto bring the Magellan back for the story beat to where it needs to be, right? Okay. That's what I'm saying.
There is a thing to be aware of if you have like lost cargo or if you have any deliveries for a location and you transport those with the Magellan, you get like a shit tier. I think it's called a Magellan ranking on the delivery. Basically, I think you're like
you cheated.
Yeah, you're like not getting full credit for. And if you care about leveling up each location to get the extra gear, then that's not desirable. So you have to be a little careful not to take stuff like that with you when you fast travel.
Did the tar currents affect the thing? How do they know?
I don't know. How do they know?
How do they know? What do you think of the story so far, Brad?
I haven't seen a ton more story since it's been a bunch of nonsense. Like when I'll say this. You remember the World War I sequences in the first game?
Yeah.
Like I've had what feels like kind of this game's equivalent of that now.
Okay.
And it was fine. It was kind of whatever. Like didn't get a lot out of it.
It's kind of hard to top Mads Mikkelsen, you know?
Yeah. The Elfanning character is awake now. I need to go like visit her now that she's awake and see what's up with her.
Okay.
So, but I don't know, like the story, I think, like I said, when we were playing this a few weeks ago, like I'm kind of just letting it roll off of me.
You're more into the infrastructure.
It's the gameplay of 1,000%. I mean, I am enjoying the delightful weirdness of it for sure. But like I'll reserve judgment on the story until I see where it ends up, I guess is what I will say. But that definitely saw some people in my social media feed who felt like the end of the game actually did land for them pretty well.
Oh, yeah. The thing I've heard repeatedly from people I trust, not just people who are like Kojima heads hardcore, is that like this is one of the better landings he has stuck in one of his games.
Yeah. Yeah, and that makes me optimistic about where the story stuff is going. But it's absolutely this game is just so much more playable.
It is
than the first one.
It's like I said, I recognize all the ways in which this game is better, and I think it is like far more successful at the things it is trying to do than the last game. I think not having the pressure of having to review it has made it harder for me to get through it, whereas the first game, I just fucking mainlined that thing because it was my job, you know?
Yeah. And all of that said, I almost fired up Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater this weekend instead. Like, it really came down to it. Who can fathom the mysteries of Hideo Kojima?
No one.
Was I going to play his current game or his old game that was remade by somebody else? I wasn't sure, but it was very much one or the other.
I am very curious about that remake. Look, I've never finished a Metal Gear Solid game. The closest I ever got was 3. Like, that's the one I put the most hours into, and I just don't know if I have it in me to, like, dig in all the way on a full remake of that game.
Yeah, I finished all 5 of them, and 3 is the one I enjoyed playing the least by a lot at the time. And I'm not saying 3 is my least favorite. I'm just saying, like, gameplay-wise, like, what you were doing in 3 did not click with me as well as basically any of the other games. But, I mean, that's kind of the point of this remake, I think, is to make it play better. So I am curious about it. But it sounds like a very faithful remake in terms of the story. So, like, it's probably nothing you haven't seen.
Yeah, I mean, most of the criticisms I've seen levied at that thing have to do with, like, you know, the sorts of things that happen when you change engines and change certain aspects of the art style because of the technical limitations not being there anymore, you know?
Well, you're not building bridges.
It's true.
You're not building roads.
No, you're eating snakes.
No, you're just take.
You're feeding on a tree frog.
Saw a very good clip of one of the more dramatic scenes in that game happening while the person who was playing was wearing the full alligator costume, and that seems like a great way to play that game.
Yeah, full body alligator costume
really adds to the drama of the whole thing.
It's what he would have wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I still. It's the last thing I'll say about Death Stranding.
Yeah. No, by all means.
It was like booking down a hill with a bunch of cargo on my back. It was in the middle of a huge brigand base that you have to take over as part of the story, and like just had too much momentum going down the hill. Couldn't stop fast enough. Kind of slammed into a wall at the bottom of the hill.
Eesh.
The voice line from Norman Reedus that was in there was just him going, just like, God damn, dude. Like,
like
it's hard
to you.
Well, or just in general.
Yeah.
But it just sounded like Norman Reedus. It's hard to explain why it was so funny. It felt like a line not intended for this game, but for something else entirely. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was very funny.
Like, just like Kojima telling him a story and him reacting.
Kinda. It felt kind of meta in a way. I found loot goblins. That's the actual last thing I will say. There are like chiral crystal loot goblins in this game.
Are they creatures? Like, are they?
Yeah. It's
okay.
it basically looks like a golden metal. It kind of looks like a metal slime from Dragon Quest.
Okay.
It's like a metallic slime that kind of slimes its way around.
Does it actually take stuff from you, or just it
runs. If you kill it, it turns into like a shitload of chiral crystals.
Ooh,
but it runs away from you. You're not actually. It's like right near the animal sanctuary.
Okay,
it's the only place I've seen them spawn so far.
Hey, have you gotten? Okay, my last question for you: have you gotten any lethal weapons in the game, or if everything they give you is okay for humans?
Yeah, not that I've seen, because I mean that's the whole story aspect of it, right? Like, you can't leave corpses lying around or bad shit happens.
Yeah, but I want to say in the first one you actually could just kill a dude.
It's possible because
void outs did happen in the first one.
Which facility is it? Is it West Nod? It's one of the big ones. I think has a grayed out menu option for me that says corpse disposal. No, it's the it's one of the mines actually. It's the first giant mine that you can enter. If you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's where you get the first monorail node.
Okay.
Which is also a mine, I believe. If you go down there's a corpse disposal option on the menu.
Oh, there is. Okay, so
I bet
there is a mechanism.
Maybe there is a way to kill.
I think if
later.
you run over somebody enough times, they will die.
Yeah, maybe so.
All right, that's Death Stranding 2. Probably more to say about that in the future. But
yeah, I won't belabor it week by week, but I am back in it, and I think I'll probably not stop until it's done at this point.
We have some other things to talk about. Not too much, but a couple of other things we'll talk about. We'll get to them after the break, so stick around. We'll be right back. This week's show is brought to you by Factor. Alex Navarro, Brad Shoemaker. You guys know what Factor is by this point.
Food by mail?
Food by mail. Food that comes, you heat it up, and you're eating within like 2 minutes. It's chef-prepared meals that are dietitian approved and delivered right to your door. And I have talked about it before, and there are two things I love in this world dearly. I'll say three, I'll roll the family in there.
Okay,
There are
yeah,
two
they
other
count.
things. Two other things. One is eating. The other is free time.
Oh, I thought you were going to say not leaving the house, because that's also my favorite thing.
Sure. We'll put 2B, not leaving the house.
Okay.
And Factor has combined these things into a product that sounds just great for me. I get to eat and keep my free time.
And not leave the house.
And not leave the house. You can choose from a wide selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp at no extra cost. And for the first time, you can try Asian-inspired meals with bold flavors influenced by China, Thailand, and more.
Radical innovations in the food by mail industry.
Yes, those radical innovations, Brad, are probably why 90% of customers say that Factor helped them live a healthier life. Feel the difference. You can eat smart at factormeals.com/Nextlander50off and use code Nextlander50off to get 50% off your first box, plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code Nextlander50off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box, plus free breakfast for 1 year.
That's a lot of breakfast.
Yeah.
I know. Seriously.
I can eat some breakfast.
Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Thanks, Factor. All right, we are back. Not too much else here coming off of the Death Stranding talk, but I did finish up what I consider to be finished up. Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Now, this game, for me personally, maybe is one of my favorite games of the year so far. And again, like Brad, you mentioned before, the year is not over. And I have also not gone back to remember the stuff from previously released in the year. But man, did I really enjoy playing through this game. The game ended. I saw credits. I got to the end, was very, very satisfied. Thought maybe I would try and knock out the platinum on this game. But then there were a couple of things that opened up that I said, maybe not. It's one of those things being, it's got a trophy for beating the game in under a certain amount of hours. Yeah. And those ones always to me are like, those are pretty tough.
I can respect it. I can respect it's like, do you want everybody to get the platinum, or do you really want the platinum to be an accomplishment? And clearly, like, they've landed on the ladder, and that's fine. I can respect that, but also, like, that just sounds kind of miserable.
Yeah, and like, I'd have to really dig into it, but I did see that, and that kind of turned me off a bit. And then there's a couple of other ones that were like, oh, I don't know if I have the patience to go back and get these kind of particular trophies in here, but I think that game is fantastic and maintains its energy, and some of the set pieces in the later levels I think are very cool. What's going on in the background of a 2D game are pretty neat.
I need to play more of that. That makes me want to see that stuff. Like even that, we didn't talk about it last week, that first like bonus stage where you're riding on a wolf or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah.
The game's just got some incredible presentation and like the scrolling of the levels and stuff like that.
So there's 2 or 3 more set piece things that I was like, oh, dang, that's cool. You know, because the world is weird. And so, it's like that kind of thing where there's like big hulking things walking in the background, or a war scene is happening in the background.
Demons and ninjas and what have you.
And corporations.
Corporate ninjas, the worst.
Corporate ninjas.
What's the difference? Am I right?
Yeah.
So I think the difficulty definitely maintains throughout, even as you get a ton of abilities. And I had damn near everything, pretty much everything, absolutely everything. By the time I got to the end, whether I was using it effectively, that is another question. But I still found the end boss to be challenging in a way that I had to replay it a couple of times, even though some stuff leading up to that, I was like, this is a cakewalk. And then I was like, oh no, okay, no, they've accounted for this cheese I've been doing on these other enemies. Very fun, actiony, combo-y, juggly. Put on your appropriate amulets. Get going. You could do this. Shinobi.
It's a great game.
It's what's for dinner.
I'm having a blast with it.
Yeah. Highly recommend it. $30. Again, probably in my head now, one of my favorite things that I have picked up. We talked about maybe coming back to things, pacing over playing games, putting them down. This was one of the ones I just wanted to play. I just wanted to get back in there and play it and get through it. I hope they do another little bit of content for it. I take like another action stage and not just a different mode or something.
They did sell like a deluxe edition. I don't know if that's got any DLC built into it down the line.
Might just have cooler ninja robes. Maybe that's just
actually, what is the thing where you can change your color before you go into the level?
Hey, you want to look cool? You want to be a purple ninja?
Is that all that is? Like,
yeah.
I've only got 2 looks right now, but the other one is like this weird ethereal color.
Yeah, you want to be a purple Joe?
Oh, so they just unlock more of those over time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. At least that, from what I can tell, they have no gameplay relevance. You just look different. Uh-oh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's okay. You can apologize.
How do you feel about Dr. Eggman making an appearance in this game?
I would feel all right. I mean, he's both a corporate demon, in some respects.
Well, stay tuned for the Sega Villains stage DLC then.
Great. Fantastic.
Dr. Eggman and 2 guest villains are coming to Shinobi Art of Vengeance.
All right, let's take a guess as to who they might be.
Sega Villains. Who do we got?
I'm going to say
Spider-Man and the Terminator.
Yeah, classic Sega villains.
The classic Revenge of Shinobi.
I would say
bosses.
One
Majima.
will be one of I was going to say one of the many grizzled character actors that has been in a Yakuza game.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I guess Beat Takeshi isn't technically a villain in 6, but still. Other than that,
pull your favorite. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't name any of the Sega beat 'em up villains, nor could I name any.
Not by name, no.
Like, I don't know.
I know there are bad guys in those Streets of Rage games, but I couldn't tell you the name of any of them. The Crazy Taxi have a villain?
Time is
the concept
villain.
of time a villain in the Shinobi DLC?
I mean, maybe.
Is it just the Offspring?
I don't see. I'm looking around. I don't see any like leaks or evidence in this of who's going to be in there.
That's a good question. I don't think of like a lot of really super memorable villains outside of Eggman and the Yakuza characters when it comes to Sega.
If we're talking era appropriate, I mean, I'm pulling from a Reddit thread because I didn't think of these myself, but like Death Adder from Golden Axe.
Oh, sure.
Or Mr. X from Streets of Rage or some suggestions floating around.
Is it just Mr. X? Is that the name of the bad guy in Streets of Rage?
That's what this says.
Okay.
I don't know exactly.
Like, I could not have named those if you really pressed me. I do
remember the Death Adder now that you mention it.
I definitely remember Death Adder. I just didn't think about him.
But yeah, I'll do that. That's fine. That's does that come with the deluxe edition in terms of okay. Like coming soon style, you'll get it for free when it comes out.
Early next year, this says.
Geez, early next year. All right, fine, whatever.
It's not as far away as you think it might be.
I mean, we're in the back third of the year now.
Speaking of leaks, I had a question about video games. Speaking of leaks, I had a question about Silksong.
Okay.
Is anybody streaming that yet? Have they kept that one under wraps?
Yeah, no, they said immediately when they announced the release date that they would not be sending out review codes.
But I just mean like nobody's got, like, it has to be one of the most anticipated games we currently have going. And you would have imagined something would have popped out there.
I don't know that it's getting a physical release at launch.
So somebody would have had to like internally.
Yeah, so there's no way if they're not shipping. And I would strongly guess that it's not getting physical until later.
Okay.
So there's no way, literally no way for anybody to get their hands on it if it's digital only.
Hacked the server, got in there. I need to play Silksong 5 minutes early. All right. I would, good on them, right? Keep their universal release date going. That is probably what, I don't know, 25 to 30% of our audience maybe is playing as they're listening to this, maybe.
Probably, yeah.
Because that does come out this Thursday.
18 hours from now at the time of this recording.
Yeah. Like I said before, I will play that game. I am curious to see what the tail is on that game in terms of the kind of full vision of Silksong. But
yeah, I'm not sure how to approach it. Like,
pop it on, start jumping around with Hornet.
Well, but I mean, like, 'cause I started playing the original not that long ago. I really wonder if this is going to be you should just go play the new one, or you should play them in order, or what?
What if it's a prequel?
I don't know.
Then you should be all clear. Then you don't have to worry about it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I got hands on with before I went away. Shinobi I finished up. I think that was kind of it. And then Death Stranding I popped into when I got back. You guys have anything else? Silksong is the one I'm probably just got on deck to play.
I mean, even I have that one on deck, and I didn't even love Hollow Knight that much. It's just I feel like zeitgeist-wise, I kind of have to play it, so I will. No, I've apart from the Shinobi and the attempting to get back into Death Stranding, I think I officially hit my wall with Madden and just decided that I don't really want to play any more of that this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put out a patch last week. It did fix a couple of things, but they weren't necessarily the things I was getting annoyed about, and that stuff still is fairly broken. A lot of it, what I mean is specifically the stuff I mentioned around the simulation engine and just some of the things that the bonehead moves the computer makes, and also things that just seem like straight up glitchy. Like, let me illustrate one particular point. You know how there's a 2-minute warning in football?
I do know that.
You know how it's always supposed to end at the 2-minute mark? Start at the 2-minute mark, you mean?
I don't know if this is a trick question, so I'm just going to say yes.
Okay. What if instead sometimes it just stopped at 1:59? And I'm not talking about like when a play has gone too long, and like so you start a play at 2:01, and then the play ends at like 1:58 or something like that. You know, what I'm saying is sometimes the clock will just count down past 2 minutes to 1:59, which just seems like one of those fundamental things that should not happen.
So if I'm thinking about a play or we're lining up and it hits 2 minutes, the whistle won't blow. It'll just keep going to 1:59 and then blow.
Or, that's what it seems like it's doing sometimes. It's not all the time, but every once in a while I notice that happen. And it's like, look, 1 second doesn't sound like a lot, but when it comes to late-stage football, those seconds matter.
Hell, man, I know enough about football to know some coach would be going apoplectic if that happened, right? Like that would be somebody would have a coronary on the field if that happened.
The
in real
league
football.
would have to comment if something like that happened. So
right, yeah, right.
So anyway, it's just like little things like that, and just things that feel like you are not doing a great job of simulating the act of football, which is kind of the one thing that you want from these games.
Hey, have you heard anything about NBA 2K26? I think that's out in like the super early stuff at this point, right?
I know some people have review code. They stopped sending me that game a long time ago, and I also kind of stopped playing it at a certain point. Not because I don't like basketball, but because I don't find any of the stuff around the edges of those games interesting anymore.
Okay, interesting.
Especially as they've gone harder on their really trying to get you to pay money after the fact stuff.
Their monetization, if you will.
It's been bad for a long time, but it hasn't gotten better.
I did boot up. This is not much to say here, but I did download and boot up that Warhammer 40K Dawn of War Definitive Edition, kind of after the on the heels of them announcing a new Dawn of War. I was like, man, all right, let me go open this up and go check it out. Look, I think that game plays really well. I think it's super fun. That's an old game. That is a boxy, polygonal, chunky game.
What year are we talking about? Is that like a 2004 or 5?
That's probably around there. Maybe even a little earlier.
2006, it looks like, I think.
Oh, or maybe a little later.
No, it was 04 was the original release, apparently.
Okay. I played through the tutorial again, and then I launched into a campaign, and it's fun.
That's contemporary with Warcraft 3, just to put it into perspective. Like that is an old ass as RTSs go. That's pretty old.
This is like a game where everybody has big blocks for hands, you know, like a big square
cube
for
hands.
a head, big block. Yeah.
So they didn't dress up model. They didn't redo models necessarily.
They probably did, but this isn't like a remaster. I think this is maybe they touched up what the resolutions can go up to. Or they didn't go in and when you say touch them up, they didn't go and remodel the models. I guess I don't think they added polygons to it. But I'm sure the lighting is different, or maybe they did and I'm not noticing. I can't comment on that necessarily, but when I loaded it up, I was reminded that in my mind, this looked like Space Marine 2, and in reality, this looks like Dawn of War, what it was originally. The mind, it wants to remember.
Everything is always worse than you remember it, not better.
Yeah.
Like I always think things looked better than they actually did when I go back to them.
Yeah. That game's great though. Like the unit to unit stuff is very just classic RTS, which I enjoy. So I'm curious to see what that new one is, that Dawn of War 4, because I think they're saying this is some classic, RTS stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it though. Everybody should go play Shinobi. I think we're gonna take another quick break here and move on to the news. So stick around. We'll be right back. And we are back now. We got some news here. Brad Shoemaker, you've picked out a couple of news stories here.
Mm-hmm.
Top things off at the top of the news segment. Top of my mind. I don't know. Top of the charts. Sony, they just had their price increase here for the US. They've had price increases in other territories. Now, let's see, where do we want to start here? Brad, do you mind if we start with the second bit here?
Yeah, let me just get that out of the way. That's quick.
Yeah. This is the headline I read. Is it the same one here? Yes. A quiet storage downgrade.
Mm-hmm. That's the word.
What is a quiet storage downgrade?
Well, I don't know. Who knows how they would position this? I could see it. Well, let me say what's happening first.
Okay.
The rumor is that in Europe, so far in Europe, although a lot of these price adjustments have been, it's only in this one territory. And then later it's like, oh no, actually it's in every territory.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Europe got price increases and then, oh, by the way, so did the US. Supposedly, according to Bill Kuhn, who is a very frequent, reliable leaker, in Europe, the PS5 is getting a quiet storage downgrade, meaning they are dropping 200 gigabytes from the included storage on the PS5, the digital edition, not the one with the disc.
200 gigabytes
for now. Which, I mean, that's a fifth of the storage in that thing, and the price would not change, to be clear. And the price already went up, also to be clear, or to reiterate. So they've had a price increase, and now this rumor is that the digital SKU in Europe will also be getting a fairly substantial cut to its included storage. Shit's getting wild.
Yeah.
So you probably follow a lot of these things, definitely closer than I do, maybe closer than a lot of folks. Do you know if is that a price saving move at that level of storage, or does it wind up being under a
it absolutely could be. Yeah.
Because at some point, are the availability of 1 terabyte drives more prolific than sub 1 terabyte drives?
I mean, in this case, I would guess, I don't know for a fact, but I would assume it's the flash chips are just soldered straight to the motherboard. In this case, that they're not buying drives as such. They're just buying the raw storage and it goes straight on the board.
So that physical memory is just cheaper.
It could be, I don't know for a fact, but I wouldn't be surprised if this would be them moving to a lower density of chip, keeping the same number of chips on the board, but moving to a lower density, which would mean cheaper supply.
Okay.
Potentially. That's just a guess. That is extremely a guess.
That's an interesting take though. Like you're not having to worry about other vendors producing out 800 gigabyte drives at that point, right?
If you're saving X number of dollars per PS5 made because you're using cheaper flash storage chips.
Yeah.
That's at scale, that adds up pretty fast. That's just a guess. I don't know.
And again, this whole story is still a rumor and may not come to pass, but
yes, but it's crazy to see.
Mm-hmm.
We just said this like a month ago. How often have you seen console prices go up instead of down? Like now you can add to that. How often have you seen the specs of consoles get worse over time?
Yeah.
I guess
I guess if pressed, maybe there's like one or two instances of something changing where the screen got worse or something.
Yeah, sure. Or you can think of examples like for whatever reason, the Canadian Wii comes to mind that had like way worse video output on it.
Oh, okay.
It was that red Wii that like it was a late generation Wii revision.
Yeah,
I had fully forgotten about that.
Like there are cases where they've like eliminated video outputs or some small change to cheaper models over time, but this is like a pretty substantial core piece of functionality.
And I'll just add for shits and giggles, it is mostly contrary to the early adopter penalty you get for coming in early on a console.
We've totally reversed it at this point.
Yes. Usually you pay less for a better console down the line.
That's right.
You're paying more for a worse one.
Yeah, and again, this part's still rumored, but who knows? We're in topsy-turvy times. This may come to pass. And like you said at the top here, this is initially just rumored for PlayStation 5's digital editions in Europe, and not necessarily world, and not the Pro.
And I guess it could be, it could be that the cost of components is going up. So this isn't them trying to save money. This is them trying to maintain costs.
Yeah, it's an offset. I wouldn't be surprised.
Maybe it's their supply of chips is more expensive now, so they have to make cuts to even stay at the same level of cost they were at before, potentially.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
That is a mess. That is not the only bit of Sony news here we have.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. The big news, though, I guess this has been rumored for a while now that I think about it. I've kind of been seeing this pop up here and there, but this is like the most fully featured version of this rumor, I think, to date. It's the YouTube channel Moore's Law is Dead, which I'm familiar with, but have not really ever watched, but it's fairly big in tech circles, I believe. They're reporting, I should say, that there is going to be a portable PlayStation 6 that would be dockable like the Switch.
In addition to a PlayStation 6.
Uh,
what I was going to follow up with, which is that it's not the only SKU they're talking about.
Yeah, that's in the, that's the kind of top line of the story. It's I'll just read, this is Video Games Chronicle write-up of the YouTube video that was posted here. Moore's Law is Dead shares specific technical specifications for the PS6 handheld, which will reportedly release alongside a traditional, more powerful PlayStation 6 home console.
Yeah, so when you were sending around this story, I had not seen any of this before. You sent it around this morning, and I'm glad this was in the opening of the story, because I was immediately worried that this rumor could mean we would not get a standard I don't know, what do you call it? Desktop console?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yes, a full size, a full fat PlayStation 6. I mean, I think
that's the one.
I think Sony would lose badly in that proposition because they can't go toe to toe with Nintendo in that space.
What more do we have about this?
I think June was the oldest rumor, or the oldest version of this rumor I could find. So this hasn't been around too long. But my first reaction to this, and I don't think this is the case, is when I saw this headline going around, I was like, oh, are they doing a Series X, Series S thing where this is going to run the same games but way worse? Like, just going to be two specs for developers to target, same game, way worse graphics that'll run on the handheld. I don't think that's the case. There was no sign of that in this write-up at all. And in fact, the specs, we don't have to get too deep into the specs, but the specs in here make it seem like it is very explicitly not that this would be a separate platform. Like there might be some cross-pollination of games, but I don't think this would be looking to run all the same games of a proper full-size PlayStation 6. But they do say that docked this thing would be faster than a PlayStation 5 is what they're claiming from this.
Yeah, again, speculation and rumor, rumor. Who knows what a PlayStation 6 would be, right? So faster than a PlayStation 5. They're not saying, like you just said before, comparable to a PlayStation 6. So do you think this is more like Sony getting back into the PSP Vita space?
Making a PlayStation portable?
Well, I think
PlayStation portable.
I think of those as kind of like bespoke little PSP and Vita fans don't yell at me toy handhelds.
Wow.
Like, I mean, there were small handhelds that were very handheld centric.
You're talking in the same way that like the DS was that, or the Game Boy or any of those things. Like you're not saying that like they're inherently lesser. It's just they were going for a different thing.
That's it. It's a vibes thing. And the vibes were, hey, this is a handheld. And this thing would plug into a TV and play games pretty well on a TV from the sound of things.
So you think this is more Steam Deck, ROG Ally?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Definitely.
But that
in
plays
that category.
PlayStation games.
Yeah, but that's the question, though, is like, what games is this going to run is what I want to know.
I would have to imagine this is probably being designed specifically to handle PS5 and backward compatible stuff that, will also probably work on the PS6. But at the same time, I have to imagine if it's not that they are building 2 SKUs that developers will have to hit for both, then what you're talking about here is a PlayStation library device and less of a specific, like, the new console.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say, I don't want to get, again, too mired in hardware specs, but this thing they are saying is going to have fewer CPU cores than the PS5 does, let alone what I presume a PS6 would have. And that would present, like, significant challenges for porting games that rely on more CPU cores than which pretty much all PS5 games do. So I don't know what this looks like in terms of what games this can run. These specs could be wrong.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that I'm not saying that any of this can't happen. Like, I think there's a decent possibility that all these things that are being rumored right here is definitely the plan and the thing that they are intending to do going forward. What I'm saying right now is that intention no longer matters, because everything changes every 3 months. Like, whatever plan you have for your hardware and your console could be completely fucking different by the time we get to the end of this year, let alone next year. So I think for me, I'm reading this stuff and I'm just like, yeah, this all sounds great. I bet there is a equal possibility that none of this comes to pass because shit starts getting crazy expensive, resources become more scarce, like any number of things can happen between now and the purported time frame of releasing this next PlayStation.
Yeah, which they are speculating is late 2027.
We might not even be here by then.
Oh, sure. Yes. That goes without saying. But 2027 is what is, for a while now, has been the speculation about when a regular PS6 would come out.
It just doesn't feel like it's been a generation. But at the same time, generations don't matter anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be 7 years. Like, that's pretty... The last one was 7 years. It was 2013 to 2020. The one before that was also 7 years, now that I think about it. For Sony, it was 8 for Microsoft. Mm-hmm. But so that is just about on point for what Sony does.
It's just been a different generation.
It's been, I increasingly agree with the people who say this generation has been kind of a big whiff.
Yeah.
It feels like.
If I didn't know any better, it does feel like you could be a naysayer and say this is maybe one of the last generations and they're going to find an alternate way. Like, Microsoft has been talking about with just being a streaming only solution, no more hardware. Because this one does feel like it did fall a bit flat.
Yeah. Like there have been great games. Don't get me wrong. I think like the biggest thing for me is how long it's taking for, and any given developer is going to put out at best 2 games a generation now, if they're lucky.
Yeah.
Like Naughty Dog, for example, hasn't shipped 1 brand new game this generation yet. Like,
if you're a big studio, like if you're smaller, you can be a little more nimble. But
yes, for sure.
You got Xavier's studio that is pulling up the average.
Yeah, that's obviously like you're working at a much different scale and pace there. That's kind of a different thing.
I know, I'm just making a joke.
But also those games run on anything. Like I'm kind of biasing here toward games that you need a PS5 level of hardware to run.
Which I feel like are fewer.
Don't worry, the console's just about to hit its stride.
There have not been as many. Like the hardware is fine. It was good. It was relatively good hardware. It's just it's like there are other factors in development that have asserted themselves that are not good.
You know what it is? Like, and this is a vibes based thing. This is not any kind of hard science, but like every generation prior to this, I feel like there has been a take-off point. Whether it's specifically because a bunch of big exclusives came to one platform and that helped drive sales in a big way for one or another. Like, there's usually some point where it feels like, okay, the saturation point has been hit and we are just getting so many games for these platforms that it feels like, oh, I could never play all of these. I just don't feel like that's happened with the PS5 or the Series X, which is not to say there aren't like tons of games coming to those platforms now. It's just that it's shovelware. Like, you can go on those online stores and get bombarded with Steam level, shovelware junk over and over again. But like the big studios have pared back in major ways. The big indie games are mostly on PC first and then, consoles eventually or at the same time. So it's like, it just hasn't felt like there's been this takeoff point for the platform hardware this generation.
Yeah, I would generally agree with that. I mean, I can think back to games like Spider-Man 2 on the PS5 was the first game I remember seeing that was just like, oh shit, this feels like a next generation Spider-Man game. Like there are some, but definitely not in the way that you saw the couple generations before that.
And I think there have been some really big wins and hits for, let's just say, Microsoft and Sony. Nintendo always kind of carving their own lane.
Nintendo lives on its own planet.
Yeah. But there were some really big whiffs and misses as well. And especially, Sony had some big cancellations and some, so it does seem like a little bit of firing in the dark from some of the first parties. And Microsoft has its own just host of problems going on, right?
Oh, yeah.
And Sony is like, Microsoft's downsizing, running into trouble, stepping on rakes a lot. Sony has been trying to figure out what to do with Bungie and like what is their games as service division going to look like, and what are we going to do, and had maybe one of the most infamous cancellations of a game we've ever seen.
Yeah,
where a game comes out and what was it, a week later?
A week.
Weeks.
Pulled down. So like this generation is fraught. It's a tough one, and for the video card market that has also been quote unquote fraught.
Yeah,
I do feel like there has been more talk of people moving on to PC stuff, or at least anecdotally, I talked to friends who are like,
"Oh yeah,
hey, I want to buy a PC. Can you help me put a PC together?" Instead of, what do you think of what's the console I should get? Should I get an Xbox or a PS5? I've talked to more than a few people now about pricing out a pre-built PC.
Yeah, the degree to I trust me, I do not use this word in any sense, in a pejorative way, but the degree to which like normies have moved on to the PC is just like mind blowing to me. Like I never thought the average person would want to deal with the things that go along with playing games on a PC, but it turns out everybody does.
Well, I feel like it's a couple of things. Like pre-builts got pretty good. If you're not there to do like the picking and the choosing of all the different parts, like most pre-builts these days will get you to where you want to go.
Also, building your own PC has never ever been easier than it is now.
And it's
but the pre-builts might be where you get the deals on the video cards too.
Yeah.
Like, or if you can find them.
Like no one's saying it's not still expensive and complicated to become a PC gamer. It still is, but it's never been easier than it is now. It's still expensive, but it's never been easier. I mean, I feel like the bigger thing for these platforms is that like I think they have two different problems. Like a lot of Sony's problems came from bad bets made during the Jim Ryan era. Now, to be fair, a lot of those bets were bets that other companies were making too. The live service push, like all that kind of stuff. And them kind of having to recalibrate and figure out, okay, what are we doing going forward? Microsoft feel more existential. Like they made some bad bets too. But at the same time, they are literally having to ask themselves, what is an Xbox? What are we? Are we a hardware maker? Are we a put everything on everything company? And that's not even getting into the larger political problems with Microsoft. Like, so it's just neither is in a great place, though I feel like Sony is at least in good enough position to handle another console generation without too much muss or fuss, unless things get really crazy in the market. But Microsoft, I really don't know. They're going to do it, but I don't know how it's going to go for them.
Yeah, I think this is their last try. If the next generation of Xbox does not hit substantially, they might be out after that.
And they're still all contending with mobile platforms, dedicated mobile platforms, and so this is interesting to me, this story, because I think you've mentioned this explicitly, Brad, and I agree with it. A lot of this is still chasing the Switch success, right? Like, I think Steam Deck was also chasing some of that Switch success, even though it's its own thing. But
Switch created a cottage industry, or actually that's selling it short. Right? Like that's selling it short. It just is increasingly feels like it is the industry in a lot of ways.
And I wonder what that is Nintendo. What is that filling a need in the market for people who want this larger portable system to bring with them on commutes or travel or school or and that stuff when it's not Nintendo, right? I think the Steam Deck did very well.
Seems I mean, for a PC handheld, it does very well. I mean, it doesn't do anywhere near Switch numbers, but
I mean, again, it's probably one of the greater successes we've seen in that space.
And so I wonder,
definitely for like Valve's hardware effort, it's like far and away the most successful thing they've done.
So I'll be curious if this does come to pass. If Sony locks this off, which I would say all reasonable bets would be this is locked to Sony games, locks this off, does Sony have the Nintendo clout to make this device push like a Switch would push, right? Like, especially if you have a big brother console that this is not an accessory, but alongside? Like, what is the market for this thing? What are you playing? Are you continuing your games? Are you streaming games to it?
That's the thing. I think we really need to hear what the software end of this proposition is going to be and what games are going to be available for it before you can really make a guess.
Yeah. So it's a weird time in the industry. Like maybe Sony doesn't disallow people to sideload stuff into here to play other games on this. Like maybe Sony is like, look, what was that? Remember when you could boot up into, was it Linux?
Other OS.
Yeah.
I found my check from the class action not long ago, by the way. Going through some old stuff.
Great.
For $10 and change, which I went out of my way not to cash because I thought it was funnier to just have that check.
Yeah. So maybe they don't do that again, but
probably not.
But you could see a world where they're not cracking down explicitly on people sideloading or making it so whatever this thing is can load in something that allows them to play other games from other libraries, because really that's what you want from this device eventually.
That feels like a bridge too far for Sony. Like Microsoft is talking about doing it and it still even feels a little crazy for them, but like,
well, you just got to unlock the longer bridge.
Sony, I feel like that feels like a never for Sony, like allowing other competitor stores on their device seems like.
I'm not saying allowing, I'm saying not cracking down on like security wise to lock the system down. If people are like, here's an exploit to sideload to boot up into this other thing.
I'll say right now, I don't believe in saying never anymore. Too many nevers have come to pass over the last few years. Will they be the last ones to do something like that? Absolutely. I believe that, but I wouldn't say never for anything at this point.
Well, I mean, that would require them either moving to a Windows-based OS or making deals with all those other storefronts to port their stores to...
Does seem difficult.
...to the custom PlayStation OS, and both of those feel like a pretty big stretch for Sony.
And it's not like they have... it's not like they have a Sony PC store that you could like link to, you know what I mean?
Yet.
Like
right. Yeah. I mean, that's possible. I mean, they have their launcher or their account system, although you see how that went for them with Helldivers and they backpedaled on that stuff quite a bit.
It's a lot of unknowns here, obviously.
Yeah. You have to remember Microsoft does have the built-in advantage of the Xbox quietly runs Windows under the hood, so that it's a lot easier for them.
And all of the games that they want to push onto any handheld are also built for Windows at some point.
Right.
You know, like they have executables that will run in Windows.
Like they already, Game Pass exists for Windows, et cetera, et cetera.
Even Sony games will run on Windows.
Yes. So anyway, I don't know what this handheld looks like as far as what games it'll run and stuff, but it's interesting that they are at least toying with this idea.
Yeah, I am genuinely curious if this rumor is going to percolate for 2 years. Like what people outside the general audience feels like, you know, I'm genuinely curious. Like this is a thing I would love, or I feel like the answer to that at this point, maybe it's a silly question, is TBD. It depends what this does, right? That's the real answer. I don't know. I guess my question sitting in a boardroom at Sony would be like, are we making unique games that only run on this, or are we trying to port games over? I guess that's the big thing. Like, are we having a Frobisher Says moment on this thing? Are we doing Lumines on this thing? Or are we just bringing different versions of PS6 games to this thing at some point?
That would be my guess, would be ports of existing games that will run on this.
Just lower resolution and turn off like the ray tracing or whatever. And
or it would be more fundamental. I mean, again, it's getting into the weeds, but with different CPU, there's other considerations there. But at least if you're porting the game, you could still like load your cloud save. From the bigger PlayStation 6 version or something. They could at least have that kind of compatibility.
Yeah, or maybe, like you said at the top, Alex, maybe this becomes some kind of Sony nostalgia device where they are trying to leverage the PS 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 library.
1 through 5, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that to me feels like a pretty like compelling move if they were to do something like that.
Dude, I wanted that so bad. Do you remember when that was the rumor going around about the PS5 that it would supposedly run every... Or I think that was more like wishful thinking.
It definitely
than
was,
like a
but
real rumor. But there were like people were talking pretty strongly, like, "Oh, you'll be able to put any old PlayStation disc in a PS5 and it'll just work. Like PS1 through 4 games will work in this thing." And nope.
And I mean, look, even if it isn't a thing where you can just load your discs into it, like if you can just have the full backward compatible available library for all the PlayStations on a handheld device and have them work reasonably well.
Yeah.
Like, that's great. I know you're not going to get everything, and you probably are not going to do anything that's physically media based, but like, still, like, just having all that stuff in one place, like, that's a pretty easy sell if you were trying to sell it as a nostalgia device for people who remember old PlayStations.
What if it has the back touch paddle so you can play Vita games on it? And
if it doesn't, I'm throwing it in the garbage.
I think if they did do this, now we're just pure and wish casting here.
Because
But
there's nothing else to do with this story. Like, again, it's all just forward-looking rumor.
If they did do a device that says, like, hey, inside of this thing, we have built the emulators and the technology to basically play 1 through 5, let's say 1 through 4, even 1 through 3 PlayStations, they need to, not explicitly, but for this thing to be successful, I would say you need to have some way to turn your head when people start loading in their ROMs and their games off of an SD card, and to not try to crack down on that, because that makes this thing go from, if you have to repurchase all these games from some store to be like, you can only play the official version that is then emulated on here, versus you've got your collection of ISOs and you just want to load it on here.
Go ahead.
Here's my Cinco-like plan for how this device can be the least useful thing in the world. It has a CD-ROM drive on the back. You have to unlock it and then put the disc in, but it doesn't read the disc. All it does is read that you own the disc, and then it downloads the game from a store, but only if the game is officially licensed and you can actually do it. They have the rights for it. So anything that's like a licensed game from before, you can't do it. And also, you have to make sure not to get it too hot, because if it gets too hot, then you have to put it in the freezer, but not for more than 45 minutes, because after that, it's unusable.
I love it. It's on a board. It's on a whiteboard.
I will bet up to $1 million that any backwards compatible games on this thing you will have to rebuy.
I will not take you up on that bet.
That's how Sony rolls.
I agree with you until you are able to you download Silent Hill and then put in the save for Silent Hill on an SD card, load this save, then you can insert your other SD card that has your games on it, and that's how you hack into them or whatever. Like, yes, if you are natively playing this thing, 1000% you are rebuying all these games, but somebody's going to figure out a way to get this thing broken.
Maybe.
And,
maybe.
Anyway, if this thing exists, if it is even going to play old games, and if it is not just smoke and mirrors, that is the Sony PS6 possible portable, as rumored by Moore's Law is Dead.
We really milked a lot out of that one for a story we really don't know anything about at this point.
I mean, that's the fun speculation part, right?
We don't get to do fun speculation really anymore. It's all bad.
Yeah, well, I should say there's actually a fair amount of detail, assuming any of this is real. Like, he does have some pretty explicit hardware specs in here and stuff like that.
And again,
So
I do believe that this could
details.
very much be the plan for them going forward.
Yeah. I don't see how those Switch 2 sales do in the back end. You know, maybe they look at them like, stop selling, Jim.
There are a lot of Switch 2s out there, I'll say that. I've been keeping an eye on it just out of curiosity, and they have not been out of stock on any of the major retailers that started carrying them at launch in like a month now.
Don't worry, by Black Friday, that'll be still mostly true.
There will definitely be a wave of people buying them for holiday, but...
Have you added one to a cart yet?
I've looked at it a few times.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you still waiting for a physical pickup at like a Costco or something if you see it?
No, so did I mention last week?
You mentioned
I think I did mention that when I was at Costco week before last, they didn't have any there.
Yeah. I didn't know if that's your preferred method.
No, I mean...
You read the serial numbers to make sure you're getting the, certain batch.
Like, I kind of am not going to play a ton of it because I end up traveling for family enough that I kind of want to bank those games to play while I'm out of town, and I can't play other stuff.
Okay.
So I'm not going to play a ton of that stuff until I travel next, probably.
Well, let's move on to our other story here. Speaking about this being a real fart of a generation of stuff. And by fart, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Impossible to predict. Perfect Dark. A game that will it? Probably not.
Doesn't seem like it.
No. Brad, what's going on in the latest Perfect Dark?
Jason Schreier of Bloomberg.
You heard of him?
I've heard.
Perhaps you've heard of him. Has reported that apparently Take-Two almost picked up Perfect Dark after the whole Microsoft calamity of layoffs and game cancellations of some weeks ago. And And then I don't think we talked about layoffs at Crystal Dynamics, did we, on the show?
No, we didn't.
That happened recently.
I think that happened in the last week or two.
Yeah, that was in the last couple of weeks, I believe, that Crystal Dynamics laid off some number of people, and apparently it was tied to this, which is that I can remember this chain of corporate custody. Crystal Dynamics is now owned by Embracer.
Yes.
And they were helping the initiative on Perfect Dark. Remember, they were brought in kind of midstream. Microsoft shut down the initiative. But apparently there were like relatively advanced talks between Microsoft and Take-Two for Take-Two to become the publisher of Perfect Dark and for Crystal Dynamics to continue making and finish Perfect Dark. And for Take-Two to put it out.
Makes sense to me, I guess.
But then those talks fell apart. I think the way that Schreier put it was companies involved were unable to come to terms over long-term ownership of the Perfect Dark franchise, which is the least surprising thing in the world to me.
Yeah.
Because giant corporations never want to give up IP, and giant corporations also never want to put effort into making money for somebody else's IP. You know what I mean? Microsoft doesn't want to give up the Perfect Dark IP. Take-Two doesn't want to invest a bunch of time in putting out a Perfect Dark game unless they can own the IP. So not too surprising to me that stuff fell apart, but it is actually interesting to see the lengths to which Microsoft is willing to go to get some of these games out.
Well, and the Perfect Dark thing, you know, for anyone keeping track at home, that game was very troubled. Like, that development of that game was not going smoothly from what anyone seemed to understand, though I think the specifics have never fully gotten out there, if I remember correctly. But is this not a situation where a smaller publisher that's a little less overly invested in owning the outright, like, IP couldn't come out there and, like an Embracer group, perhaps? I don't know. Like, someone come out and just be like, hey, we can put this out. We don't need to own Perfect Dark outright, but we would like to have some ownership right of this one game we are distributing.
I would guess finishing Perfect Dark at this point is a pretty expensive proposition.
Yeah.
And I don't know that Embracer actually has the capital to make that happen.
I mean, I guess
after all their cash flow problems and reductions over the last couple of years.
I guess the other thing is, like, Microsoft can take that flyer because they own it, and they're just like, well, let's see if people still care about Perfect Dark, and if they don't, they just move on. Whereas another company is taking on more risk if they have to, you know, financially invest in this thing that might not even play to a modern audience.
Right. Like, here is the $1 trillion corporation asking. I mean, granted, Take-Two is not exactly a small, like, upstart.
They're not asking for handouts right now.
And this is not the best analogy when Take-Two is involved, but it's like here's the $1 trillion Microsoft asking another company to assume the financial risk for putting out this game, which I guess is how you get to be $1 trillion company.
After Microsoft has already invested money in this, right? Like,
a lot.
I don't know. I mean, it's I don't know if it's the best look. If I'm Microsoft, I don't know if it's the best look for another company to be putting out what was going to be one of my marquee platform releases, but I don't know. I
mean, you know, when WB was shutting down all those random movies that were basically done, you know, another company did come in and buy up the rights for that Coyote versus Acme movie, and they are putting it out. Ostensibly, Warner Brothers still owns all the Looney Tunes stuff, but this company is just putting out this movie that they were never going to put out. So I'm not saying there's no risk involved, but like it's the kind of thing that seems like it is starting to happen more and more, especially as these companies get very capricious with just saying, no, we're not doing that anymore.
Doesn't make me want to like WB.
No, of course not. But they at least
yeah,
some reason was found there, and someone got that movie that was done into hands of people that were willing to put it out.
Well, that is a major distinction here. Like, that was a finished movie that absolutely should have come out. Like, this, I swear, didn't we hear at some point? Wasn't it? I feel like it was said at some point after this game got canceled that, you know, that gameplay demo they put out of this, was it last year? That looked kind of cool. I'd swear somebody from inside development basically came out and said, like, yeah, none of that was real.
Oh,
like that was like
that. Oh,
that was a vertical slice that was very proof of concept, and that was not a finished functional section of game. That there was still going to be like major effort in making that into a full game.
Well, I would not have guessed that this was happening. So I don't know. Maybe there's some other stuff bouncing around with Perfect Dark. I think, like Alex said, never say never. But I would, if I were a betting man, I would say we're not going to see this version of Perfect Dark.
No.
This is not coming out, especially because they just laid off a bunch of the team that would have made it if they had closed this deal.
Yeah, at Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah, yes. I would say we will never see another Perfect Dark product again.
What?
Probably.
Ever?
Probably never.
Somebody's going to bring that.
I think
Joanna Dark will show up somewhere.
I think even this one, when they brought it back, people were like, huh, really? Perfect Dark? I guess I could see it. Okay, sure, you can take another stab at this, but we'll see.
They're going to feed the Perfect Dark games into an AI, and something will be spat out at some point.
There aren't even that many to feed in there.
No, 2? Was there anything more than Perfect Dark?
I don't think so.
No. Well, I was never a Perfect Dark fan. I was. Do
you know anyone who was?
Not really. That's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. Is like Perfect Dark was just off-brand GoldenEye because they wanted to make another GoldenEye and didn't have the license.
And to
we
be clear,
need that
this
memory
is
expander.
Yeah, this is not me saying those games are garbage or anything. That's not me coming out making bold claims. I'm just saying I don't remember growing up with anyone who had like real feelings for Perfect Dark other than that's a video game I rented.
Like the first one I think was reasonably popular. The second one was somewhat infamous as a 360 launch game, if you recall.
I
also remember I thought Greg kind of liked that one, if I remember correctly.
People didn't hate it by the time it finally came out, but it was not an amazing. I mean, it was a launch game, launch games are always kind of compromised.
Look, you needed that. It was for the rich kids. You needed that memory expander. I didn't have that thing, so I couldn't even rent it. So
wait, was that required? I never played it when it was new.
Wasn't it required? I thought it was required.
I don't remember.
Did it just make the graphics quote unquote better?
Like some games it was optional.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's Perfect Dark. And just a reminder, Microsoft's still on the BDS list. Moving on from Microsoft. This story. Evo. The fighting game tournament.
I'm going to let Alex help out here because I know you follow Evo a little more closely than I do, but the long and the short of it is that I don't even know where to start because there's so many layers of organization here, but at the top level is Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is part of their public investment fund.
Yes.
But the actual organization, I apologize if I'm pronouncing this wrong, Qiddiya or Qiddiya.
I think it's Qiddiya.
Like, I'm not sure where that fits into the PIF as a business venture, but the long and the short of it is that they effectively co-own Evo now, like Evo.
The slate of tournaments.
Like the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Evolution Championship Series.
Right. Like if the short version, if I understand it, is that they wholly own now the company that is the organizer of Evo.
Mm-hmm.
And that they also co-own like Evo, the concept.
Yes.
The construct, the show itself.
Yeah, because there's an Indian company that now owns the other half of Evo.
Right.
And I'm trying to think how I want to approach this because, look, I love Evo and I love fighting games, but I also do not pay a lot of attention to the behind-the-scenes goings-on of the business. I do remember when the original owners sold their stake in 2019. I do remember that things were starting to shift around that time, and obviously the Saudi public fund and other related entities have been making a lot of inroads into video games and esports in particular. And so this is definitely in keeping with all of that and not terribly surprising given the way that, look, they own 96% of SNK. Fighting games is absolutely one of the tip of the spear things they are doing in the video game world. So not terribly surprising. It leaves me in a weird feeling place of just like, I bet Evo doesn't really change as a result of this, but there is a thing that kind of hangs over it. My understanding is that there have been some fighting game, like FGC people out there who have been boycotting some of the tournaments that were directly sponsored by the Saudi government. I don't know what this does for that.
I don't know either. Like, do we have an Evo in Saudi Arabia?
I bet there will be an Evo event in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that was an event. Yeah, absolutely. Like the main event, I don't know. But
no,
yeah,
I don't think they moved the main event out of the U.S. unless some other things change. But they will probably do a Saudi, Middle Eastern tournament there. Invitational
kind of thing or something.
And I think you guys, we were talking a little bit about this before the show, but you brought up the good point of, look, there's not from what you guys were saying, the impression I was getting was there's just not a great alternative to Evo if this is your thing.
Yeah, although
they're all are alternatives. It's just that none of them are as big, I don't think, unless you're talking about the straight up like publisher sponsored stuff like the Capcom, Champions League type stuff.
Yeah, like this is definitely not my world, but it definitely made me wonder if maybe this is the impetus for a competitor to start gaining ground. Like, I pulled up this news on Event Hubs, which has always been like the kind of FGC news site of record to me. I think that's still fair. And like the comments on this story were not very kind.
Yeah.
Of people saying, okay, well, I'm done watching Evo now type stuff. So I wonder if there is some shift in the community.
The general vibe I've found is that wherever the Saudi government has started to buy up things, there is generally an air of dissatisfaction around it. And, you don't always necessarily assume that people are necessarily plugged into the political stuff that is attached to that kind of thing, but it seems like people are at least pretty aware. And I think the stuff around Fatal Fury maybe made that stuff a little more visible this year than it had been before. Like, again, content in that game very specifically catering to certain members of the Saudi royal family with particular figures being included. Like, that seemed to really rankle a lot of people.
Yeah, so if you're deep into the fighting game scene and you're again, not my scene at all, but if you're competitive in there and you've got, objections to human rights stuff and stuff that goes on in Saudi Arabia and the public investment fund and that whole thing. Like, are there places with big prize packages? Or like, it seems like a
not comparable,
tough place to be in. Yeah.
Again, it's, if you're talking about starting a real Evo competitor here, you are talking about needing someone who has a whole lot of money to help you fund it. Like there is, you can do smaller scale tournaments without, having something at the scale of these major companies sponsoring it. But if you want to actually compete with Evo, you have to come in with a pretty high amount of capital to make that pop and for anyone to either notice and for people to sign up for it. And I just don't know that there is a groundswell in that direction right now.
Yeah. Do you get an AEW pop up? Is that
again, you need a billionaire. Like, you need to find a billionaire that's just willing to bankroll it for an X number of years until it becomes its own self-sufficient thing.
So you're saying there's only one solution. Make me a billionaire.
Yeah, you have to find a good billionaire.
Make me a billionaire. Folks, make me a billionaire and I will do my best.
JB Prisker, let's go.
I will do my best.
I think he's got some other things going on.
Start a fighting league.
I don't know. Like, I don't know how to feel about this. Like, I've always been weirded out by some of the Saudi stuff just because of, again, the human rights stuff, the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, like all that kind of stuff, like has left a weird taste in my mouth dealing with the Saudi sort of inroads into gaming. But the problem is those inroads are everywhere. They own small stakes in a whole bunch of major corporations in video games. Not necessarily like controlling stakes, but they have like their hands in a lot of video games.
I was reminded before we recorded when I looked it up. It's like Capcom, Nintendo, EA, Take-Two. The list just goes on.
Yeah.
And I don't think that number of things that they are involved in is going to go down anytime soon.
No, I agree.
So I don't know. I don't have any answers. I don't know how to feel. It feels weird is how I would describe it. I just feel weird having just watched Evo and had a fine time doing it and just feeling like, do I want to keep watching Evo? Like, I do, but like, I don't know how to feel. I just don't know how to feel.
I think it's a similar thing with a lot of companies at this point as the games industry has got bigger, more money to be made from it. And the people that are now in power or older have a nostalgia and a like for video games, a true, genuine like for video games. And they can use their power, wealth, and influence to push around something that used to be a genuinely fun, for us, younger hobby. It's now just not only moneymaker, but a political investment,
Yeah. And it's weird. It's weird. And again, in some cases like SNK, I don't know that SNK has the profile they have right now, if not for the amount of money that was coming from the Saudi family. Like, does that Fatal Fury game get made, without that sort of investment and that ownership? I don't know. But does that also make that game feel kind of inherently compromised? Maybe. I have not played that game despite liking SNK fighting games. And, you know, everything around that stuff just feels weird to me. And I have not come to any conclusions about what I'm going to do with anything like Evo, any of this stuff. I just have to express this feeling that I just don't know what to feel.
Well, again, I don't think any of us are. I think Alex, you're probably the closest in a viewing of Evo.
Yeah, I just love watching
it. Yeah, so like we'll see what the fighting game community has to say about it as more of this kind of evolves and
you know
moves on.
We're a long ways away from full, you know, Evo main event, but there are a bunch of other Evo events coming up between now and next summer. So we'll probably start seeing what kind of responses people have to it. Not that long off.
And I think that is it for the news. Emails. We have an email address. It is podcast@nextlander.com. 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 Brad Shoemaker, the email bag.
Yes.
You got something in there?
Did we talk about Bubsy 4 last week? We did.
We did talk about
we talked
Bubsy 4
about your time with Bubsy 4, didn't we?
Yeah.
We did.
Okay. I thought we did.
Sean from Sydney, Australia. My granddad's obsession with Bubsy.
Oh, boy.
I had to pause when y'all were talking about Bubsy 4D and the history of the franchise, and he's got franchise in sneer quotes with 2 question marks.
Okay. Great.
Not sure how to...
It is a franchise, technically.
Yeah. Back in 94, I got my SNES, and for whatever reason was gifted Bubsy from my granddad. As typical grandparent video game purchases at the time, they were always obscure. One year, it was Rescue Princess Blobette on the Game Boy, but I digress. Anyway, he was so impressed, he went out and bought his own SNES and a copy of Donkey Kong Country and a copy of Bubsy. He, at 75, played Bubsy so much, he finished it over 40 times, even to the point of, number 1, collecting every yarn ball in the game, number 2, beating it without ever dying or even getting hit. And the most impressive, beating it without ever collecting a single yarn ball or collectible.
What?
The man was a machine.
What?
Have you told your granddad about speedrunning? Because I feel like he might be a contender.
It's possible. I mean,
so sorry. Let me do a little bit of math here. Bubsy came out when?
Like early 90s.
And then
early to mid-90s.
He said his granddad was in his 70s?
Oh, yeah. His grandfather would be over 100 now if he is still with us.
But somebody who was born in what, like 1920?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Yes.
Is somebody born in 1920 while cars were still kind of trickling out there and horses and cars and manufacturing and World War One and like
they had cute animal mascots back then too. They just weren't in video games, Vinny.
No, they were on like pomade cans and stuff.
Yeah.
Or they were telling you about the war effort.
Beat Bubsy in a way that
Bubsy says, take down the Nazis.
I love it. This is the story
Bubsy.
of America.
I
is
really
the America we need to be promoting.
really want to see some Bubsy World War II era, like American, we can beat them propaganda posters.
Do you think it would be a don't
Hitler? I hardly knew her. Hi-oh!
I think it would be a don't be a Bubsy. Sign up today. I think Bubsy would be...
He's more of a Goofus character.
Yeah, exactly.
Bubsy a draft dodger.
Yeah, totally.
Let's just say that Bubsy has a couple of secret kids in Canada.
That's amazing. That's an amazing story. I love it.
I have to believe grandfather is still alive. Just because that much Bubsy power in you, like, how can you die? Must visibly be with us. So tell him about speedrunning. I think he could compete.
Yes. This is why we have a Bubsy 4D.
That's right.
He probably just bought it because it reminded him of Heathcliff. It's an orange cat.
It's true.
How it can't not be funny, right?
Oh, that's amazing. I aspire to be that granddad. Or just that able to, in my 70s, to be able to beat any video game.
I had that thought while you were talking about Mass Effect. Immediately, I was like, man, it'd be awesome to go do that Renegade playthrough you're talking about. And then I was like, well, by the time I got to that, I would want to do a Paragon replay first to remember how cool all the Paragon stuff was. And then I thought, I'm only going to be able to do that after I retire. Like 2 full playthroughs of all 3 Mass Effect games is the kind of thing you can only do when you've got like nothing on your agenda.
That's a way to run out the clock.
Yeah. Or Shouldn't even say this because we did this already. Mass Shoemaker. It's
no.
It doesn't quite have the same ring to it.
No, it really doesn't.
Mass Bradlix.
Brad Effect. Yeah.
Brad Effect. There you go.
It's right there. All right. You got another email before we
Galaxy Quest.
Speaking of old jokes, here's a question from Dan. Lost Soul Aside came out, and my brain keeps wanting to make the joke, Lost Soul Aside, how's the soup? But when I tried to look up where that joke is from, the internet can't find it. Am I nuts, or is this not some old vaudeville joke talking about some bad restaurant experience? Or is there another joke
I don't know this joke.
I don't know if it's specifically a joke.
Is there another joke that has a similar punchline? Am I completely making up memories? I'm counting on you, my fellow old joke appreciators.
Is this like an Aristocrats thing?
That's what it sounds like to me, or like, again, the vaudeville era.
Are you familiar with this patter? I don't know if I know this one.
Like this construction, something aside, how's the soup?
Yeah.
It sounds like an old joke to me.
But it was so specific to this weird game title, though.
No. I think the idea is that the Lost Soul part is the blank. Like that's the Mad Lib.
Well,
you would fill in. It's the whatever aside. How's the soup?
But without knowing what the whatever is, like I can't make a context for it in history, and the only context I have is this one game.
Like is it like feelings aside? How's the soup? Is that the structure of it? Like, how is this joke?
Yeah, I think that's the punchline.
And is it that the feelings would also be a side dish?
I don't think so.
Oh, what is? I'm trying. Look, I might be an idiot. What is the like sardines aside? How's the soup?
Something along those lines.
Yeah,
I think is the proposition here. I don't see anything about this joke.
We're gonna have to source this.
There's maybe some kind of like try the soup joke you're thinking of. That
maybe.
Oh, maybe that's.
You should try the soup. Yeah, I think here's where I will agree with our letter writer here is that every time I have read that game's title, I have definitely thought about what am I asiding? What is the aside here? What is going to be the bit that I followed up with? But I don't think I went to the specifics that this person did. But I also don't think you're thinking of a specific joke. I think the title just invites that.
I think you're right.
I want to know. The only soup I know is there's a fly in my soup, right? There's that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's that. I think it was on
the only soup you know.
The only soup joke.
That's the only soup you know.
It's the only soup I know.
Is the one with the fly in it.
The soup joke where there's a fly in my soup. And then the other one is I think it's a Sesame Street bit, but maybe it's not. Is the try the soup one? Where the guy is like the client, the patron is like, waiter, come here, try the soup. He's like, what's wrong with it? Try the soup. What's wrong with the soup? Is it too hot? Just try the soup. Is it too cold? Just try the soup. And then the waiter goes, okay, well, where's your spoon? Ah, exactly. And that's the bit.
I had occasion to watch the Weezer Buddy Holly video recently. Who's the diner owner from Happy Days? It's not Arnold, is it?
It is Arnold.
Is it Arnold?
It's totally Arnold.
Like Arnold says, try the fish
at
the beginning of that video. Is that a joke in this vein?
I mean, I think that was just like an old sitcom joke of, don't eat the fish at that random restaurant kind of thing,
Please try the fish.
The fish not so good, Al.
All right.
It's Al. That's what I think it's Al.
Al's Diner?
Yeah, I think it's Al.
Okay.
So we're gonna source this out. Hey, look, maybe it's another country. Maybe it's a Canadian thing. Maybe it's maybe it makes sense there.
I'm gonna say I think there are. I'm not gonna get on the soapbox too much. I think there are a lot more like false memories, conjured memories floating around out there than people want to admit.
We're all hallucinating.
Or
you're saying they're just somebody's lost control over the Matrix.
We're just Mandela affecting every 5 minutes now.
Yes, that's what it is.
Exactly.
That's that sweet summer child thing.
It's because of CERN. That's why. CERN just broke reality, and so now we are just shifting through realities at constant rates.
Perhaps.
We're colliding with other dimensions that are our own. Right. My son, I've mentioned this before, this could be a teenager thing, or this could be CERN intersecting with other dimensions, will look you dead in the eye like he's listening to you, and then say something completely random and be like, I'm sorry, what were you saying? I was talking to him about some Python thing or something, look at me dead in the eye. And then he said something like, bubblegum toothpaste. And I was like, what? He's like, I'm sorry, what were you saying? And I was like, where were you just now? And he's like, I was just off in another. We call
he might have ADHD, Vinny.
We call it dimension skipping. He was with some other family that looks similar to ours having a moment. I think I could just be teenager stuff, teenagers.
Is he on
out.
that weed?
It could just be extremely high. I don't know.
Have you checked his popular knapsack to see if he has those weed drugs?
I am sure. Surely.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of data and misinformation and garbage and slop we are now exposed to does not help this whole effect.
No,
certainly not.
Yeah. Because right now somebody has just made 5 instances that look accurate of somebody doing this. Something aside, try the soup joke that look real, and then the AI scooped that up. And now if you ask the AI, it's like, oh yeah, definitely, that's a thing I scooped up, hoovered up off the internet.
We may not have had a good answer for this person, but bless them for not asking ChatGPT, because it would hallucinate a joke for you. It would pretend there was a joke from like 1935, and it's just like, yeah, I just made that up to make you happy.
Oh my gosh, of course that's a joke. So fun of you to remember. Here's how the joke could go.
That's very insightful of you.
You've got such a good memory. Have you ever tried? Have you tried applying that to Mensa? This is great.
Sorry, if I can go off on a brief rant here. It's not just that particular strain of bad talk from ChatGPT and other alike AI entities, but I have become so deeply enraged and just find it unbearable the way everything on the internet talks to me now. Headlines, ChatGPT, the way that language has been twisted and contorted to get the maximal amount of eyeball viewing darting to whatever it is that's being said, whether it's complimenting you in the most grotesque ways possible, or it's just a headline. Literally, every sports headline now, if I may just briefly go on a tangent here,
I want to hear it,
is never mentions the name of the player they are writing a story about. They mention the team in passing. Usually they identify the player by the salary they have. Because somehow, somewhere along the way, they have decided that by not telling you who they're talking about, by inferring that they have a big salary, that will make you click on the story more likely.
So it'll be like $52 million a year player traded to the...
Yes, it's exactly that. And it's everywhere. Every site does this now. Some memo went out.
Oh, wow.
They did the numbers, and they realized that this is the only way people will read about sports news anymore.
This is the attention economy at work.
And it's so broken. Like, I'm so sick of being talked to this way.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck your internet.
Next email, Brad.
All right. This is a good email from Will.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm excited that I have an answer for this. The recent discussion of AMVs.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just want to define AMV for us, by the way.
Animated music video.
Yeah. Well, or anime music video, right?
I've always thought you might be right.
I always thought it was specifically anime. Is it not?
You might be right. Now
it is. You're right. You're right.
Okay. Not to say you couldn't do it with non-anime animation, but
sure.
But it generally is.
As generally practiced. I mean, let's be real. It was about 98% Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right up until it became about 98% Naruto, as we discovered.
And One Piece, yes.
And now One Piece.
We talked about this on the Ninja Gaiden stream, right?
Yes.
The recent discussion of AMVs got me thinking of the trend in the 90s and early 2000s when anime movies like Street Fighter got licensed alternative and new metal soundtracks when they were brought to the U.S.
This is the first thing I thought of when you brought up that Street Fighter. I was like, oh, they're going to talk about Korn, aren't they?
It is the example. Wait, was Korn in that movie too?
Korn is literally the thing that appears over the credits. Remember, like, there's that last Stinger scene where fucking Ryu is like walking down a road and then a fucking semi-truck driven by M. Bison is like coming up on him. And then it's just like, are you ready?
Wow.
Into the credits.
I got to go watch that again, man.
It's fucking sick, dude.
They used to know how to make movies.
Yes, we used to make real cinema.
The most famous example of this was probably the dubs of the various Dragon Ball Z movies, which had bands like Drowning Pool, Pantera, Sum 41, Disturbed, and even Bootsy Collins on their soundtracks. That's like a random... That is that feels like an SAT question, like which one of these does not belong?
Right, yes.
Which one of these is of a very different genre?
Bootsy likes money too.
Totally. As a black kid growing up in Chicago, this was my first exposure to most of these bands, and the entire reason I became a fan of the Deftones was because of their song Change in the House of Flies, plays at the climax of the movie Cooler's Revenge.
That's great.
When Goku finally turns Super Saiyan and starts kicking the villain's ass.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, are there any artists whose music you guys became fans of because they were featured in movies, animation, or video games?
Oh, hell yeah.
I have the most direct answer possible here is that I 1000% got into KMFDM because of the Street Fighter movie.
Fuck yeah.
Because that Vega Chun-Li fight got recut in the American dub to God, is it Ultra? I forget which song off of Neil they put in that movie. But anyway, I was like, dude, I should listen to whatever this band is now that I've seen this. And then that became one of my favorite albums of the 90s.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Fucking love KMFDM. I have tons of these. Like this I would say not as much anime because I was not really watching a lot of anime when this heyday was happening, but video games are very directly responsible for dozens of bands and artists that I've discovered over the years. You know, this era in particular, these bands exist and are popular the way they are because they were very liberal about who they licensed their music out to. Like these being on every extreme sports game and random action game and just any soundtrack you can get your fucking shit onto is a huge factor in why that stuff lasted past that very specific window of when nu metal was popular, and why those AMVs sort of became so big in the mind, I feel like, because that music was just so out there at that time. So, you know, I basically, like, half the Tony Hawk soundtracks are like discovery engines for me back then, you know, that kind of thing.
Sure.
Yes, is my answer.
Name
I don't
one.
know. I don't know.
Give me one.
I don't know.
Give me a band you wouldn't know except for anime or video games.
I don't know about the anime, though. Like, I would listen to the anime soundtracks, but I don't know the bands. I'm just not good with names of things. I want to say Puddle of Mud was in something, and that's why I wound up with a Puddle of Mud album, but I can't remember what it was. Was Puddle of Mud ever in like a Tony Hawk?
Probably.
Was Garbage in a Tony Hawk?
I don't think they were in Tony Hawk, but I bet they were in like some of those other ones.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of CDs that I don't know where I would have gotten exposed to them, if not for a video game.
Now look, here's the thing. I'm just gonna gently, before I bring you back to earth here in a second, Vinny.
Yeah.
The bands I'm talking about, I didn't just go out and buy the CDs for every single band that were on those soundtracks. I had a little bit of discernment. Like,
I just buy them.
No. Like, sometimes those songs weren't good, was the thing. Like, not all those bands were good. Like, I think Bodies is a pretty good song, but I don't really need to ever hear anything else by Drowning Pool, you know, that kind of thing. You heard Puddle of Mud and were like, I need to own that.
I don't know.
Wes Scanlon was just like, that man spoke to you in a way that, like, no one else did.
Who did not?
Everything is feeling a little blurry.
All right, I've got one. And we talked about it before, and it's a little cliche, so I feel bad using this, but it is probably my favorite example.
Okay.
The Tiny Toons, They Might Be Giants.
Yes.
Yes, it's an easy one. That is definitely
that is how I discovered They Might Be Giants.
Yeah, that counts.
Yeah. So license your music out there.
Mm-hmm.
Do dumb stuff with it.
I've discovered if it's useful, this will definitely be useful at some points. You don't necessarily have to hand it to fandom, but if you go to vgost.fandom.com, it seems to be an entire wiki devoted to indexing like all the licensed music in every video game ever.
Oh my.
Someone has to do that.
When you asked, has Garbage been in a video game? I can actually tell you Garbage has been in like 24 video games.
Oh, wow.
Actually, I thought that number might be higher.
Or close to it. Gran Turismo.
Are they all sports games? Okay.
Gran Turismo 1 and 2, NHL 2000, World Rally Championship, Amplitude, Rock Band, Guitar Hero 5, We Sing Rock, Need for Speed Most Wanted, The Sims 3 Supernatural, Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain.
Wait, really?
Yeah, the game had... Don't you remember
that had licensed soundtrack?
The game had like all those tapes you could unlock that's just full on, had like Bowie and all kinds of... Basically, I mean, it was like... Frankly, Phantom Pain was the precursor to Kojima just putting music he likes in the Death Stranding games.
One of the best things he ever came up with.
I agree with you.
Even if I don't like the music he's putting in there, I love the way he's doing it.
Yeah.
Rock and Roll Racing. It's what's AC/DC? Were there who else? Who was in Rock and Roll?
Oh gosh,
I don't think AC/DC was. They were not licensing a lot back then.
They were not doing anything like that. Okay. I don't remember.
I mean, they were licensing
soundtrack
a lot of stuff for like
Wars.
movies, but I don't remember them being in much in video games for a long time.
Give me just a second. Let's see. Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, Steppenwolf, George Thorogood and the Destroyers, Golden Earring, Judas Priest, Rush, and Elite. Well, I guess this must have been later. Elite Tauren Chieftain.
Oh, I have another one. Speaking of this.
Oh, that's the Game Boy Advance version of.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the GBA
that had
version.
licensed music in it.
Rock and
That
Roll
still
Racing?
was able to.
After
I'm
a
not sure.
fashion.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Anyway.
I think it's Elite Beat Agents had a Walkie Talkie Man and Radar Love.
Yes. And a couple of other, like, I remember they had the like cover versions of those songs, but yeah.
Yeah, I think those are the only places. Even Radar Love, I think, is where if it is Elite Beat Agents is probably where I heard that song the most.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely Walkie Talkie Man.
You know, I love this aspect of video games, and I kind of want it to come back in a big way. Like that era, like the late 90s to mid 2000s, where just like shit was showing up in every fucking video game. Like, I kind of want that to come back because I still think it's a great discovery method. Like, when I did that drum stream yesterday, I'm just one person, but they were like, I have 5 new albums I'm going to go listen to right now after that. And, like, that's the joy of this, is finding a way to introduce that music to people. Even if it's bad, who cares? Like, just get it out there.
Was it the original Xbox? Was it 360? Which one had the...
Are you talking about the custom soundtrack feature?
Yeah, I wasn't going to say the
OG.
ability. I was going to say more of the promise. What'd you say? Which was it?
They both let you rip soundtracks to the console, but the 360, I don't think original Xbox had this. 360 was the one that had like at the SDK level, you could build it in where you could make the game replace its music with your custom music, but still lay its sound effects on top of it and stuff.
Okay.
I
think
think
not every game had that, but like that was so fucking cool near launch when games like racing games were just like, hey, you can just play the MP3s you've ripped from your CDs to this console instead of the music of this game, and we will just integrate it with the game.
See, I think
so
the original
cool.
Xbox did have some of that, because I remember playing at least one game where I ripped a ton of songs to the OG Xbox, and then it was playing in the game. Like, it was definitely like soundtrack replacement. It may have been a thing where only a handful of games actually supported it.
I
Yeah,
thought
that's
Tony
possible.
Hawk was a 2X or whatever was on the OG Xbox. Did it?
I think so. And there was like a racing game. I remember I used to play. It might have been an original Forza. I don't remember.
Project Gotham.
And then they all immediately realized that they could make money by selling music, and they stopped letting you do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yes. All right. Any more emails, or should we?
Why
Should
don't we
move
call
on?
it there?
Okay. That is going to do it for the show, folks. If you've got sound off, if you've got some other winners, over
Tell me
in
your
the
favorite
Discord.
music discovery in video games, or
Yeah.
anime for that
Or
matter. I would love
anime.
to hear about it.
It's Law and Order. It's where I hear all my big bangers.
Mm-hmm.
Chewing my way through. Some of those episodes have gotten still very dark.
It's not a light-hearted show, Vinny.
No, apparently is not. Anyway, that's going to do it for our show, and that's going to do it for our summer of Star Trek, folks. We are on the Watchcast. We have recorded our season finale. It is now up on the Patreon. We will be moving on. Alex Navarro, what have you to say about this summer of Star Trek?
Well, first of all, it was a rounding success, I think. Getting through Star Trek Season 2. I had a blast doing that. We are going to take a couple weeks off from the Watchcast so that I can recover. And then the last 2 weeks of September, we will return on the September 22nd. We're going to watch a couple of Columbo episodes. Specifically, when we come back, we were going to watch the Leonard Nimoy episode, A Stitch in Crime. And then the week after that, we were going to watch the first William Shatner one, Fade into Murder from 1976. And then we're going to launch into our spooky movies in October.
So we've got a couple of weeks off here from the Watchcast. We will have actually some time off coming up too in September as well, which will overlap with a little bit of that. But we will come back with our transition from Star Trek through Columbo to the scary movie month.
Yes.
Which
Nothing
will
is
hit in
scarier
October.
than Peter Falk walking up on you and just asking about one more thing.
One more thing. You know, my wife, my wife loves Star Trek. You know,
My wife, she watches these AMVs all the time. And I'm like, oh, these are great. I love this animation. But these guys, they're always screaming over the music. It's not very pleasant to me.
Brad, how much Columbo have you watched?
0.
Great.
This is going to be great.
I hope these are stereotypical episodes of Columbo where he just does all of that. Have you watched?
They all are to certain degrees. I think the Nimoy one is interesting because it has one of the most abrupt endings of all of them, but like I'd still call it a very good episode.
Okay. Well, you can look forward to that. Like Alex said, in a couple of weeks here, we will get back to the Watchcast. But if you have not caught up, now is your time to catch up and finish out your summer of Star Trek or any other movies that were in the Watchcast before we kick it back off again later on in September. We have, Alex mentioned before, he did a drumming stream on Tuesday. You can check that out, hopefully in some form on YouTube.
So
or
far, so good.
Twitch archive, knock on wood. If there are any problems with that, it should go up on the Patreon. Speaking of the Patreon, it's where you can go to find a bunch more stuff, like Never Been a Better Podcast, the show where we have Jeff Bakalar, Abby Russell, Austin Walker, Dan Riker come join us on a monthly basis in varying arrangements to do a catch up on life. And this week's that just went up, you can be as shocked as I was about people's laundry habits or your own laundry habits. Apparently, I am in the severe minority of people who share a laundry basket with their significant other or their family, a hamper, I should say.
Wait, hang on. I've heard references to this laundry scandal. Is that the point of contention? Is it weird to mix laundry with other people or not?
That is it.
Really?
So apparently I, who have a single laundry hamper in the house where the family deposits their laundry, apparently I am the weird one.
Dude, what the? It's all getting washed, though.
Doesn't matter.
It's all getting washed.
My guys don't even mix them with your guys. It's not how this goes. I'm telling you. So just to give you the framework, Brad, in my house, we do our own laundry. That's it. We have our own laundry bins. We do our own laundry. The house laundry, stuff like linens and things, we will share the duties of. But for our own clothing, we just do our own shit.
But I'm not talking about process here, like who does laundry or whatever. But I'm saying, is there an objection to the concept of multiple people's clothing being in the machine together? Is this like a disgusting kind of thing? It's like that's unsanitary or something?
Let me just slide in one more comment here from one Vincent Caravella he made during the course of our conversation about laundry, which is that sometimes as a result of all of this, he accidentally puts on his son's boxers.
It happens.
Okay, that's a little weird.
We're getting close to around. We have similar.
You're closer than you were.
Yes, and now we're in a lot of ways, but it mostly the size of the boxer briefs is getting near, and so sometimes when they're folded up and put away,
almost like a little separation might benefit you in that case. I don't know.
I'm not saying it's objectionably wrong.
Yes, you are.
I am saying there was a spectrum. Apparently, I was on one end where all the laundry can go in one hamper. Alex was on the other hand where all the laundry must be separated. And there was I think Abby and Bakalar were in the middle somewhere where children's laundry gets separated out, but partners' laundry can be in the same hamper. I thought just putting it all in the one hamper was just totally fine.
I'll say it again, though.
Lovely way.
It's not so much the intermingling. I don't mind that really that much with my partner because we share everything. But like her clothes sometimes need specific things. Every one of my clothes can be washed the same way.
Yeah, there's definitely a conversation about like delicates need to be separated out and stuff like that. But that's not the same thing.
So we just do it easy. It's easier this way.
If you want to hear the rest of that, please go over to Patreon.
I think we gave you the gist of it.
Patreon.com/Nextlander. If you need to know the nuance. Go over to patreon.com/Nextlander where you can find that. We should be having a Planorama going up in the near-ish future. You can check out that. Video Ramblecast is up there. The audio Ramblecast is up there. All the casts are up there. Watchcast is up there.
A cast of every kind.
Yeah, all the casts are ready for you. You can head over there, find a tier that fits your lifestyle, and help support us. There is one tier there, though. The Mysterious Benefactor tier, and I have resorted our Mysterious Benefactors into their God-given order as opposed to what Patreon wanted to put them in now, which is alphabetical order. So, Alex Navarro, can you read our Mysterious Benefactors for us for this week?
You know, I wasn't going to do it, but then you asked real nice, so I'll do it. Our Mysterious Benefactors for this week are Jerry Lee, Sean Miller, Sending Good Vibes on the Internet, RRE, Alpha Rhythm, Infelicitous Rips, David L., Kelly F., Brian Lucier, Skywarp, Jason Grimm, John Hubbard, NXL Retirement Fund, Evan Cook, Mark Wilhelm, Jerry Lee, Detective Deirdre, Fish Crimes Division, Gary Pejke, Robert Fisher, Bunny Money, Chad Rita, Statics, Brian Murphy, Randy Duax, Randy Alderson, Andrew Tiebkin, Alex Wu, It Me JP, Edward Chick, Andrew Slosky, Steve Lynn, Matthew Herrig, David Campos, and Tyler Treese.
Those are our mysterious benefactors for this week, and a big thanks to them, and a big thanks to everyone who supported us over at patreon.com/Nextlander, and thanks to everyone who supported us by watching our stuff on YouTube, Twitch, and wherever else you ingest the fine Nextlander content. This Friday, I believe we will be going back to Star Trek, probably not to finish, but to get much closer to finishing Star Trek Judgment Rights. We might.
It could happen.
It'd be a nice coda to put on it.
Yeah.
So if you want to take a break from playing Silksong and join us for that stream, come join us. If you want to take a break from everybody else, probably on the Twitch streaming Silksong, I need to look. Remind me if anybody's listening to this to go see when you put the game in on your. If you don't know, when you put the game in that you're streaming on the Twitch dashboard, it usually show you how many people are also streaming that game or have tagged that game to stream. I need to look at that for Silksong on Thursday or Friday. I bet it's going to be a lot of people playing that game. Probably.
I would think so.
But we'll be doing Star Trek because we're idiots.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You know what? And you know what? It needs to be done.
Yeah, I mean, I would guess most people who care about Silksong will be playing Silksong.
Or playing and watching Silksong.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you can surely hear more about our journeys into Silksong on this very podcast next week. So thank you very much, Alex Navarro.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad Shoemaker.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more of the Nextlander podcast next week. See ya.